Welcome everybody to Tunes Day Night. I'm your host MC Toon, and tonight we've got Iggy Part Deux. That's about all the French I know. I see people in the live chat that are talking in French, but I can't pronounce it. I'm Icy Spin just said Bon Jour, and let's see here. Somebody else said some nice looking. Yeah, right here. The Copper In Quarter said Moi Aussie Tabernac. Right there. Moi Aussie Tabernac. Whatever that means. Back at ya. Moi Aussie Tabernac. We've got Iggy. Iggy had he's got some he was getting his text figured out. It's sorted somehow. It's not quite sorted. He's working on it. Oh, Doctor Who Design says croissant right there. And GBS Warrior says cheese horse d'oeuvre. Whatever that means. Yep, my French still good. So what do we got? I got an announcement next week. Hillside. It's been a while. If you remember Hillside, he's returning next Tuesday. And if you have not yet gone in the last week and done your daily duty of asking Mark Sargent on his videos, all of his videos that he's posted in the last week, if you want, or all of them going back several weeks. Hey, Mark Sargent, when are you going to keep your word? Will you be a man of integrity? I know asking a flat earther for that is a little bit of a challenge, but I mean, you could ask him, sarcastically. I did enjoy very much seeing his comment section just full of people saying, "How come you haven't quit flat Earth yet?" So, thank you for that. For the people that have been asking him that, maybe one of these days he'll read the message. He'll descend from his ivory tower and deign himself to I don't know if I use that term right or not, to read the comments and then respond to it and find in his collection of emails the one I sent that has the link to the unlisted video that he as of yet has not watched. Yes, you don't need to view Eric Burns. You don't need to view. You can just go there and pause it right away and then play or not play, and then just go to a comment and say, type in the comment, "Hey, did you look at the email from MC Toon yet?" There you go. I did not see. All right, Hokage Smoke said, "Did you see Sensible Talk with Flatzoid?" I have not. Oh yeah. Flatzoid next Wednesday. I'm talking to Flatzoid next Wednesday. It's going to be a debate on celestial navigation. And I asked him in one of his community posts about it. And I said, well, how about this, Flatzoid? I will send you 3 star angle measurements and you just show the process for getting a fix. And for some reason, he did not want to do that. Why would Flatzoid not want to do that? It boggles the mind. But anyway, that will be the topic, is celestial navigation. I'm sure you can guess at what some of his points will be. And I will just be happily waving in front of him. Nobody has taken me up on my offer. $10,000 just laying there. So, Hokage. All right, Hokage Smoke says my name is pronounced Hokage. All right, Hokage. So, all right. Iggy is in Zoom, but I do not see him and I do not hear him. He was earlier in, but it wasn't working all that well. So he's like, I'll reboot, but it hasn't fixed yet. So I don't know. Thinking about cake says right there, "Us less chats et le chine." Chien. All right. Copper and Quarter. La terra ne est pas plate. There you got an extra T in plate there. You just need the one in plate. String news one. There you go. Copper and quarter is it says good, very good on my friend's pronunciation. One of my kids actually has taken a French class. Yeah, we homeschool, but they take classes too, and so anyway, he knows more French than me. Let's see. Oh no, it's Andy says, look at Pete MK as he just debated flatsoid on celestial navigation. Sounds interesting. The one thing I do have to say about flatsoid is he can get completely, I'm just demolished, just squished flat, like the squished flat, right? Like the Monty Python foot coming down and just stomping on him. He can get that flattened and then come out declaring that he did well. It's you've got to admire the positivity that he has. So Iggy is still, I don't know what Iggy's doing. Let's see. Let's just start video, see if that works. In the meantime, NA it's right here, NA. I gotta send it. I gotta send these. Said, I have a source from McFlatty that has irrefutable evidence that MC Toon is a paid NASA shill that is run by the Hollow Earth's lizard people. Well, make sure you get that to, is it from McFlatty. Uh-huh. Yeah, and I suppose McFlatty might claim insider information, being that he is my ugly identical cousin. So, could be. Dave Kircher with his standard thank Titicaca. It's Tuesday. Thank you, Dave. Nate Walker says Cuba from Key West. Yes, that's and with flat earthers being adamant that you can see Crete from the shores of Israel, right? Even though it was really shown to be whatever that was is moving. It's certainly not an island. Islands don't move like that. Even though Taboo Conspiracy has taken that video down, they still say 616 miles you can see Crete from Israel. So the question is easy. That Nate Walker is talking about. Why can you not see Cuba from Key West? It should be just grab your P1000, zoom it all the way in, and then where is Key West? Should be, or no, sorry, where is Cuba? You should be able to just wave to the presidential palace. There. Here you go. Iggy is going in and out of Zoom here, so I don't know. It's tech. It's pretty standard issue. So Amadeus Arkham says alive and a little late. Let's go, Mike. He had some issues today. So Axis, get better. Ooh, I hear you. I see you a little. It's a little choppy. Are you on Wi-Fi?
No, I'm not supposed to be.
You're not supposed to be.
Not much. Not much of it, at least.
Why not? Because it's your neighbor's Wi-Fi?
Technically, yep.
You know,
I'm just kidding. Jeez.
My neighbor, for quite a while, I didn't have a password protected Wi-Fi. The reason why is because the only people that could get on it were people that were close, and nobody was on it. So I'd go into my router and watch. And then I also, anything that you access is already gone over SSL or TLS. If you're going to your bank, it should be so hacking should not be an issue. But there's still some issues. But anyway, I didn't do it for years until my neighbor started just using it too much. I'm like, all right, too bad. So All right.
All right.
Iggy, people might not remember you. Maybe you want to introduce yourself again.
I'm a ex-insurance agent and agency owner, preeminent ball earth mathematician, and
Mathematician.
just a flat earth. Yep, flat earther for about 7 years now, and I try to deal with or deal in the irrefutables as much as I can, and so far I haven't heard anything refutable coming from the ball side. I get a lot of song and dance and bait and switch and tangents, sidetracks, but nothing really addressing my statements,
All right.
which was our last show that we did together. So,
Yep. All right. Um. Now, uh, so I asked to be sure how your sound levels were, and people are saying that your sound levels are good, that they can hear you.
okay, great.
So, all right. All right. Well, now you had last time we talked. I was on vacation, so I was not in my I didn't have my normal the studio, the fancy, which is just a room off the back of my house, to be in. Um, so I don't know if that really makes a difference, but I've got a little more comfortable stuff here instead of just being sitting out in a park. So
All right, wonderful.
um, one thing that I did not see. I know you were on with Professor Rob Parks recently, and I did
Yeah.
not see. I saw just bits of it, and but apparently there's something about the Pythagorean theorem that you call into question. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. Well, if you do the 3, 4, 5 thing and then square everything, which is the equation for the theorem, is just square A, B, and C or X, Y, and Z. Uh, I find that it often fails to complete, and you have to add a step or two even in order to get it to fix itself. And otherwise, Dr. Parks was telling me that he commonly square roots C or Z and doesn't square it. Just whatever the initial result is, he square roots that. And the only place I can find that is to conversely affirm a working set of numbers, but not as a standard practice.
All right. Well, let's go over that. So let me do
Yep,
this. I'm gonna send you my so you can see my desk here.
that's much better.
And I'm going to do this. So here's a piece of paper. We've got the Pythagorean theorem. Right there, right?
Yep,
So now if we're going to solve for C, right? Say we want to know the hypotenuse, right? You got one side hypotenuse. So if we're going to solve for the hypotenuse, what do we need to do to get C all alone?
well, he was saying you have to square root
Yep.
A and B possibly as well.
Yep. So A squared plus B squared equals C. That's all in square root. There it is. So that we use some algebra to solve for C. Does that look good?
Right.
All right.
Supposedly that's what I was supposed to work. Yep.
Supposedly. Well, is there anything wrong with this algebra?
As far as I know, there is not.
Okay. So you agree with this?
Right.
Okay. So I have here. Then I've prepped this because he did see there was talk of a 345. So I've got a 345 right here. Right. This is graph paper. The each of these squares is a quarter of an inch. So, and I put a mark every inch. So we've got, on this one, we've got 3. Right? And then on this one, we've got 4. Right? And then this angle here. So I have a ruler so I can measure it. But I'll just draw the line
Right.
now. I have on the millimeters or the centimeter side. Centimeter and millimeter, the metric side. So I haven't measured it
Ew.
yet, but we've got 3,
Ooh,
4.
metric bad.
Look good? So 3
Yeah.
squared plus 4 squared square root equals, and then we'll call this h. Does that look good?
Yes.
It's the same formula, right? So 3 squared
Right.
is 3 squared is what?
9.
Okay. And 4 squared is
16.
16 equals h. So what's 9 plus 16?
25.
25 equals h. Square root of 25?
Is 5.
5 equals h. Oops. So this side should be 5 inches when I measure it, right?
Yes, it
According to
should be.
Pythagorean
It
theorem.
will be.
It will be. All
Right,
right.
it will be.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
And we get that. It's hard to read. Right there. Put it at 0. We get it at 5. And that's 5. So
Right.
what is the issue with Pythagorean theorem?
Well, now if you do Dr. Park's way, if you do the 9 plus 16 without square rooting it, you're just squaring it like the original equation. You end up with a 25 as your H or C,
But that
and that
I'm
does not.
but that's not how Professor Parks is doing it.
No,
Right?
that's
This
why I was
is
explaining
this
it.
this is
Way.
how he does it.
No, it is not.
No, it's not.
No,
How did he
he
do
will
it?
do 9 plus. He will do 9 plus 16 equals then square root of that 25,
So you're
and
saying
that will give you 5 then. Right. So he'll do
that's
the
what
a
you're
squared b
saying he
squared.
does.
And, right, and that does work out. That is correct because you end up with your 5 still.
You wind up with 5 still?
Yep. Or yeah, because you're square rooting your 25 then.
Well, you're not square rooting. You're going 25 equals root h. Right? And so then you
Right.
put
You have your 9
yeah.
16.
So then
Right. Okay. Good. I was hoping
so
you
you
were getting it.
but to solve for h, how do you solve for h?
Well, that's the problem is you end up, if you follow the original equation, you end up with 25
But
is where he
yeah,
starts.
but how do we solve for h?
I don't know what you mean. We have to square root it.
Well, yeah, you can't. Yeah, but h isn't all alone. There's a something applied to it here. We need to have it all alone.
Well, he doesn't square h. He only square roots it.
But but you see, I don't know why you think he does this. When did he do this?
On the show that we had.
He did this, huh?
Yeah. And if you square root your 25, then that's fine.
But if I square root the 25, then I double square root this side. How do I get h all alone in this step?
Well, you don't.
Yeah, but there's a process for that.
That's one of the problems.
There's a way to get h all alone here using this. I don't know because I'm quite certain that Professor Parks did not give you this formula.
He wrote it down on paper for everyone.
He wrote this down on paper.
Yeah, he did your second line as well as your third line.
He did. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So he did this line. This line is correct, right. And definitely I would see him doing that.
Right, and then he did the inverse of that, which is the third line.
No, the inverse of that would be, well, I don't know the inverse. I can't imagine, like I said, I didn't see the video, but I would see Professor Parks doing this, doing that. So that's the other direction there, right?
Right, and then what does that equal? Is that 625?
No. You see, to get the squaring out of here, you have to take the square root of both sides. So that's how you solve for it, which is this one here.
Why wouldn't you just square it?
Why wouldn't I square this side or this
Right.
side?
If we're talking about the first line being the without the square root,
Yeah, that's
and it's in your first page. Your first page had the actual equation that is the only
well, yeah.
recognized legal equation.
Legal.
You must square everything.
All right there. Yeah, but then
Absolutely.
I did some algebra on it to solve for C. That's how I got this.
Right, but you still have to square C. You're not done with line 2 unless you square C.
What? Why?
Unless you're using Dr. Parks' square rooting.
So here's what I did. You've got C squared. In order to get C all alone, when I have C squared, which is right here, in order to get rid of the squaring, I need to take the root of C on this side.
Right.
And I need to take the root on this side. And that's how we wind up with this. So I solved for C.
Well, that's fine, but he was not saying that. But if you want to go ahead and do that, let's see what it comes out to.
That's it right there. That's what it comes out to.
Oh, I mean, not actual number-wise.
Actual number-wise is this. Right? 9 is 3 squared. And I'll write the previous step.
Right, but your H2 would then come out to 25 times 25, or are you taking it down to 5?
No. So I square the 3. I square 3, I get 9. I square 4, I get 16.
Right.
And I left H alone. H squared, H squared. Now, in order to get the square part out of here, I want H all alone. I need to move that to the other side somehow. I need to get it out of there. That's what I did here.
Yeah.
I took the square root of both sides. That's algebra.
What says you need to?
The rules of algebra.
What does the equation dictate, though?
When you apply algebra,
that you must.
That's what I'm doing. I'm applying algebra.
No, that's not the equation. The equation is not to apply anything else. That's the reason for an equation. It is your entire recipe.
Yeah, but you could apply algebra to the equation. That's what I'm doing here, right? So I'm getting, when you get C all alone, that's what you do here.
We're not even to that stage yet.
Where are we?
If you're going to square 9, if you're going to square 3 and 4, you must square H.
Yeah, H is squared right there. That's why I wrote H squared.
So what is that numeral?
What is what?
That numeral.
We don't know yet because we can't.
We do.
I mean, we can add these together and we can see that 25 equals H squared.
No, 25 equals H. Now you must square 25.
No. It's already done.
Yes.
This is literally middle school algebra. I mean, I have the algebra book that I.
Well, go ahead and do. Well, then do your singular 25 then.
So we've got 9 plus.
If you're saying you
16,
must, apparently you don't understand, but that's
equals
okay.
25.
Because I will still prove it wrong. Yep.
Okay. Now what? We've got 25 equals H squared.
Right. Now, do you have the ability to measure 9 inches or 9 centimeters or 9 millimeters?
But that's
as well as 16 to see if you get 25.
But that's not the answer. We need to get H all alone. It's H squared. We have to get that squared out of there. How do we get that squared out of there? You said you're the mathematician. No.
You have to square it.
What's the opposite of squaring something?
It would be square root.
Yeah.
Only after you square it, though.
You said you were a mathematician.
You can't not square. You can't not square something when the equation dictates you must square it. Is that not true? Well, otherwise, the equation would equal just C and not C squared.
Ziggy, I don't think you quite have a grasp on the math that's going on here.
No, I have a perfect grasp on it. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have 25. You will never measure 25 is the other problem.
We're not trying to measure the 25. And that's because we're trying to measure the square root of 25. That's what we're measuring.
Right, but there is no square root in the official equation
Yeah, that's
at
that.
any point in
But
any source.
but you can apply algebra to manipulate the equation
It doesn't matter what you
as it
can
works.
do. It doesn't matter what you can do. I can change 3 and 4 to 2 and 5. I can do whatever I want.
But then
But
the
as far
yeah,
as the
that's a different.
official equation goes, there's no difference in that. Don't give me that horse shit. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking
You're
about here.
complete.
This
You're
is
a
this is
complete fraud.
this is literally middle school algebra.
It is not.
Yeah,
The
it's
equation as it is written is the recipe. You must follow the recipe.
yeah, I did.
You're
I
not
this is
following the
I
recipe.
started here with a squared equals b plus b squared equals c squared, and then I
It's
solved for c, giving me the square root of a squared plus b squared. The square root of the whole thing equals c, right? So then I apply it here,
no, it
right?
does not.
I've got
It does not.
the square root right here. This is this line here. These two match. Right there. We've got the square root of a squared plus b squared equals c. Square root of a squared plus b squared equals c. And then I use h here, right? But for the hypotenuse. So then
Well,
what
then go ahead.
yeah. So I take 9 plus
Go.
16, which is 25.
Yeah.
And then I'll write it over here. I mean, it's
Sure.
that's not it. This is all wrong.
So you're going to claim your answer is 5 then.
Of course
Is
it
that
is.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you measure 9 and 16 and end up at 5?
There it is. I don't measure 9 and 16 because the formula doesn't bring it out to 9 and 16. The formula brings it to 5. And so there we are. Pythagorean theorem confirmed, measuring 5. Right there.
Wrong.
Well, what length does the Pythagorean theorem say that should be then if you think I'm wrong?
You have to do 9 and 16
Why?
because you also must square h or c.
Well, I don't square it because I took the square root of h squared, giving me just h.
Yeah.
Right. So
Because you want to violate the equation.
no,
Just
I'm
because
just
you want
applying
to
algebra.
violate the equation
Let's
does not make you
let's-
correct.
let's do that. I have h squared. Now, if I take the square
Yeah.
root of h squared, what is that?
Right. What is h squared first, though?
Well, the answer is
What is
h.
25 times 25?
Yeah,
Wrong.
right there. That's
Wrong.
what-
Wrong.
how's that wrong?
Wrong.
How's that
You
wrong?
have to first square h as a numeral.
Yep, I did. It's
That's
squared
what
right
you're
there.
avoiding.
And the opposite
That's
of
what you're avoiding, though.
squaring something is square root. They cancel, giving h. And in fact, instead of writing
Yeah,
square root,
I
I could
understand
write
that.
I could write like this. Watch this. H squared times h to the power of 0.5. Have you seen that?
So,
And then
No, I've not.
watch this. Watch this. There you go. Isn't that amazing? I could do this too. Watch. This is another one. This is good. H squared times, the dot is times, h to the power of 1/2. Watch this. H.
great.
What do you
It
think
has
of that?
nothing to do with what we're talking about at all.
It totally does. That's the algebra that we're talking about.
That is completely wrong.
We'll go back. We'll go
You're
back to
changing the equation.
right here. There it is. Oh no, I'm
Just
applying
because you
algebra. Yeah, and when you apply the rules of
No, you're
algebra,
cheating
you
the equation.
I'm not cheating
You're
at all
cheating the
because
equation.
I'm
Show me-
applying
Show
the
me
rules of algebra.
anywhere else that you can just willy-nilly change an equation.
I'm not changing it. I'm applying the rules of algebra to the equation.
Are you changing E equals MC squared?
Now, that's a different equation.
It doesn't matter. Any equation is the entire equation that can only be used.
No, you could apply algebra to the equations. That's what you do.
You can apply
That's-
anything
that's-
else to
that's
an
what I'm-
equation. The equation is the equation for a reason.
but
You moron.
but you can actually apply algebra. You know, mathematicians know that you can
It
apply
doesn't matter
algebra to
what
an
you
equation.
can do. It doesn't matter what you can do. Everybody understands you can do whatever you want. if you want to
As-
violate
as-
the equation.
No, as long as you follow the rules of
Ridiculous.
algebra. And that's what I've done. I followed the rules of algebra.
No, you didn't follow the rules of the equation, though. Doesn't matter what. Algebra does not outrank the equation. Ever.
Yeah, you can do what you want with the equation as long as you follow the rules of algebra. I don't know why this is so difficult.
It's not difficult at all.
Well, for
You're
you,
just-
it seems
You're
a challenge for you.
just trying to get away with a cheat that does not exist, cannot exist.
This is literally middle school math, and no successful middle school math student would see any problem with doing this. You do it all day
You're
long.
full of shit.
You do it
You're
all
full
day
of
long.
shit. Bullshit.
This
You
is
don't know anything.
this is literally just like simple algebra.
It doesn't matter.
I should get
It
one.
still ends up wrong.
Hold on.
Either way, it still ends up wrong.
I'll get the algebra book. Hold on a second. It's right up here. All right, this is the pre-algebra book.
That's
I'm
great.
gonna get.
Fantastic.
And let's see here. All right. There it is. Pre-algebra math UC. This is the instruction manual. Look at that, a little doodle there from my kiddo. See that?
All right.
All right.
Sure, but
Let's see if we have. Negative. Yeah. See, this is a little simple. We might need to go to talking negative numbers and subtraction. But well, I mean, this is good here. Here we're doing some examples of associative and the communicative property. Right, commutative property. Right. So here's an example.
So you can change the equation.
5 plus 7 equals 12. 7 plus 5 equals 12. So the equation changed, but it's okay because it's the commutative property, right? And then 12
Right,
equals
which we're
12,
not talking about.
right?
Which we're not talking about.
Yeah, we're it's the rules of algebra. So this is going over the
This
rules
is
of
a
algebra.
special rule in certain conditions.
What's a special rule?
The associative and communicative is a special rule for certain conditions only.
Yes,
It's
of
not to
course.
be used all the time.
Not all the time, and I'm not using it all the time. All right, here we go. Here,
Right.
roots
But you are
and
now.
radicals. Here it is. All right, let's see.
You're using it wherever you want to, is what you're saying. And
As
doing.
long as you apply the rules correctly, you can apply the rules of algebra to an equation and change it around as you see fit. So roots and radicals. The opposite of finding a square is finding a square root, as I showed you just a little bit ago. Or like factors.
Right.
I shy away from the word roots at first because it's so new and seemingly unrelated. I much prefer to call these factors of a square, where the square's common factor in the problem 13 squared. The problem 13 squared, we build a square with the sides of factors both the same. In this case, 13. Right? The product is 169. During the inverse of this, we're given 169 and asked to find the factors of the square. So we build a square and we see how long the sides are. In this case, 13. Look at the picture in example 1. The symbol for finding the square root is that little one there. So when you read root 169, say, what are the factors of square with product? Factors of square. He likes to use that instead of root in this introductory thing. That's the author, right? Or what is the square root of 169? What's the square root's common factor? There you go. So, I mean, you're learning stuff here, Iggy. You're learning stuff.
No, I'm not.
So here we go.
It's ridiculous.
Example here. Root 16 equals 4. See that? And
No, not really.
and root 16 equals negative 4. Do you know that actually when you're doing a square root, you can go positive or negative?
I do believe I did know that.
All right, excellent. So there you go. Find root 10 squared. Ooh, that's a fancy one. That seems very familiar, doesn't it?
I can't quite make it out, but
Root.
sure.
I'll get it nice and close because it's a great example. Root 10 squared.
That's much better. Thank you.
There you go. And I'm trying to get this to focus. Come on, focus. There you go, down here. There you go. Root 10 squared.
And then
it doesn't want to.
And then they proved me correct at the bottom.
So we know 10 squared equals 100. Root of 100 equals 10. So root 10 squared equals 10. They cancel. Isn't that amazing? And then here they go doing exactly what I did. Right here.
Right.
Root.
Which is what I told you.
Root.
Which is what I told you.
But you didn't like this. You thought this was wrong. You thought this was unacceptable. But here we are.
That's what I keep asking you to do, though.
Here we are in this book, Matthew C, pre-algebra. He says, what is the root of x squared? Right.
Right. And what does he do?
You
got to go up some.
The answer is x, right there.
Right.
And it's again. Yeah. After
right.
applying the rules of algebra. After applying the rules of algebra.
What did he do in example 1 or 5?
Well, he gave
example 5.
Yeah, he said root 10
squared first.
Is he's walking through the process because this is an introductory. This is an introductory thing for people that don't understand this topic yet.
Right, but this is what all I was asking you to do, and you refused to do.
So here we go. What is root of x squared? Answer x. What is root of h squared? Answer h. What is root? What is right here? What is root of 25 squared? Or what is root of 25? Right? We did the same thing here.
Wrong.
We did this here.
Wrong.
Why is it wrong? It's not wrong. I did the exact same thing.
Proved you
right. So right here,
example 5 proves you wrong.
Oh my gosh!
That's why I asked you to use numerals. Go ahead and square it first, then square root it and back at your 25.
Right there.
Yeah, but you cannot square root it a second time.
I only square rooted it once. I'm only square rooting it once.
Which is what I said.
Just once.
You know you were not.
Right there. Right.
So I
did that right here.
Do it just like the book, asshole.
Yeah, I did right here.
Just like the book.
So 20.
You did not.
Root 25
Let's put
equals
a numeral to h squared.
Right there. Root of 25
must have a numeral.
No, it doesn't.
You're not.
The book.
You're lying through your fucking ass.
Right here. Here's the book.
Piece of shit.
You're disagreeing with the book.
Square it.
The book right here. X squared.
No, put the numeral in.
Root of x squared. What is the root of x squared?
Follow example
Answer
5.
X.
Follow example 5.
Root of x squared. X.
That's why you won't do that.
Yeah.
That's exactly why you won't do that.
Yeah. 5. Root of 10 squared. Root of 10 squared equals 10. This is the introductory thing for people that don't understand variables yet, like you.
And what?
And then we've got right here for a variable for people that, this is just an introduction thing to people that are just new to understanding that variables happen in algebra. Something you're not up to speed yet. That's fine.
I am completely.
And so the root of x squared equals x. Root of x squared equals
I'm the only honest person
here. Root of 10 squared equals 10.
What's the square root of 10? Because that's what you're doing.
Nope.
You're doing square root of 10.
In fact, I'm not. So
yes,
what is the
to end up with 5, you must do square root twice.
So right here, here's what's the root of c squared?
You're lying.
C is right out of the book.
It is 25.
Right out of the book.
Example is 25.
Right out of the book, Iggy. So I'll just write down. Write down nice and clear here. Out of the book.
It is not. You must square it first, as the book tells you and shows you.
There you go. That's what the book told us.
Yep.
Right in here. Root of x. It's right there on this page.
Right, and it tells you. So why do you think it gives you the other example?
There it is.
Why do you think it gives you the other examples?
Because it's an introductory book for people that don't understand the topic yet, like you. So
right, yourself.
Yeah. So here we go. And so I solved for C. Nothing wrong with solving for C, right? You agreed this was the correct.
You're such a fraud. It's ridiculous.
You agreed this was correct when I first went through it, right?
Right.
Okay. So this is correct. So we just plug in the numbers then. We just plug in the numbers, and that's what I did right here. 9 squared.
I agreed to
3 squared.
What Dr. Parks does.
Right, equals h. Right, that's the same equation right here. This equation comes down to this equation. Square root of 9 plus 16.
What is h?
And then we go right down here. It's just h, right? We've already taken off the squaring.
Complete.
The squaring got moved over to the other side, and then we go over here. We go root 25 equals h. 5 equals h. 5 equals h. This is the application of the Pythagorean theorem.
You don't know.
It's taught to middle schoolers. It's
Why are you lying to your viewers? The viewers saw example 5 for themselves that it must be squared first. And yet you're going to sit here and try to fool everybody
but I
with
did
the outrageous lie.
But the book gave us this. The book gave us this right here.
You're such a liar. It's
and
ridiculous.
you agreed with what the book said, right? The book says this.
Yes, as long as you follow example 5. As I said multiple times.
But example 5 doesn't have a variable in it.
There's no such thing as a variable.
X is a variable here.
You must complete x squared.
What do you mean? What do you mean there's no such thing as a hold on? You claimed I want to be sure that everybody understands, Iggy. You claimed to be a mathematician. You claimed to be a mathematician. Hold on. Did you claim to be a mathematician?
I claim to be a ball earth mathematician.
Okay, but are you a mathematician?
No, I am not.
That I agree with you. Okay.
I only deal in what matters. You don't know shit, though.
Well,
I am way above you, and the book is way above you. I don't.
But the book agrees with me right there. Root of x squared is x.
You can't just avoid it, though.
I mean, that's what I did. I did exactly what the book said right there. Right there. Let's look nice and close.
You did not. You did not.
There we go. Find x squared.
Why do you think the line is long?
There you go. X squared equals x squared, and root x equals x. So root of x squared equals x. Right there. That's what I did. I did this. That's the algebra that I did.
Jump to the end.
And Iggy,
you can't jump to the end and skip all the other steps.
I didn't skip any steps. This is literally all you have to do.
You lied to everyone. You refuse to write in numerals at all.
But you don't. But I did write numerals right here. 9 plus 16.
For H, did you?
Well, I already moved because I moved it over just like this right here.
And you're a moron, and Clive Wells is an abject idiot.
But the problem is, Iggy, none of what you've said is correct, Iggy. None of it.
That is true. Only in your mind.
You agreed with this, and now you're disagreeing with it for some reason.
The book backs me up completely. You showed it to everyone.
Yes, I did. I showed this. The book shows this right here.
I can do exactly what you did. I've done it.
The book literally shows this. Now this, you see, x is a variable.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what a variable is in math?
No, I do not.
I believe you.
Yeah, that's good.
I totally believe you. All right. Well, now that wow, that was quite something.
Now that you've lied and deceived.
Quite something.
You will not even recognize that you're just double square rooting, which I have done myself, and you will arrive at that number.
Amazing.
You will not even recognize that the book scolded your ass.
Amazing.
And you just skip right to the last part and claim, "Oh, this is how it's done," because I'm a retard.
I accept that you are. Yes.
Good job, Jimmy.
Let's see here. Somebody suggested
doing this. Fraud. Such a moron, Jesus!
All right.
So you expect to get away with that without any.
All right, this is a good one. I mean, literally, the entire audience is just scratching their head, saying, "What are you talking about, Iggy?" But you know, that's fine.
Yeah, I know. They're just yes men and yes women.
So, but they're not. They actually, a lot of them are quite skilled at this. All right, so there is the first link.
Oh, look at that double square root.
So a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Imagine that.
It's giving some examples, 3 and 4. Right. And guess what?
Yep.
Root of 25 equals 5. Exactly what I did.
Right.
Exact same thing that I did.
Right. And now only then does c equals 5.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with this then?
You have to square root everything, and that's not part of the equation. The original equation is up top.
Yeah, but you
There's no
apply
square root.
algebra. But this literally right here, it applied
Apply
algebra
algebra.
right there. C equals square root of a squared plus b squared. This is the same thing as I did.
Why don't you just apply calculus then?
There's no calculus in this. Why would I
Why
do
don't you?
calculus? Why would I do calculus in this? There's no calculus.
Because you're relaying to everyone you can do whatever you want, regardless of what the equation tells you to do.
If you follow the rules, of course. But I'm not trying to find the area under a line. I'm not trying to find the instantaneous slope of something. I'm trying to solve for, the hypotenuse. So there's no need for calculus in that particular process. You just apply the Pythagorean theorem.
And then you take us to lesson 8 and lesson 11 instead of lesson 1 or lesson 2.
Well, if you want me to go over lesson 1, which is negative numbers and addition, you go over that.
No, I'm just saying. Why do you
think
it is lesson 8? Why do you think there's example after example of example with numerals in there?
Yeah, right here, like this did. That's literally the same. But that's the same thing I did here, right? I've got the literally the same thing. So what was the problem with what I did? I got the correct answer, right? Did I get the correct answer or not?
After double square rooting, yes, you did.
So it's correct. Whatever you think. I didn't double square root, but it's correct.
Yes, you did. I can prove that right now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
This will be good. Hold on, I need to change it so you can.
I'm disabled. Yeah.
Just a second. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you see anything going on?
Yeah, just a second. I'm setting it up so that we can see what you're doing. All right, there you go. People can see what you're doing now.
The calculator in the bottom left?
Yes.
Okay. So I just did 9 plus 16. I'll do that over again because you can't enlarge the calculator, unfortunately. Clear that. 9 plus 16 equals, because we're all squared, and then we must square 25. This gives us 625.
Why didn't you square root?
We can square root that, and then if I square root again, now we got 5.
Why did you square it and then? But why did you square it and then unsquare it? Why didn't you just skip squaring and unsquaring?
There is no skipping, as the example showed you in the book, is what you don't understand at all, and you will not do at all.
But the book, the book gave us this right here. The book gave us this. Why?
As the skip to the end, McToon way.
This is from the book,
which is not in the book.
It
is not in the book.
It's literally on the book. I literally copied that right from the book.
No, it is not.
It's example 7 right here.
Is there anything before that?
Example 7.
Is there anything before that?
Find root
in that line
x squared. Yeah. Find root negative root 6 squared and find root 10 squared. Right, which is 10. Right, and then it walks.
Right.
It walks for the child. It walks for the child through the steps, the process of doing it. But once you've done it and you understand what's going on, and you're no longer a child, then you say, "Oh, I don't need to do that. I'll just go x. Root of x squared is x." Because when you're not a child anymore, that's what you'll do. Wrong. Oh.
Wrong. Yeah.
But the book said this.
The book shows you.
The book shows this.
The book shows you.
Right there.
Walks you through an entire line for that last example.
In fact, it did not.
In
fact, it says we know that x squared equals x squared, and that root of x squared equals x. Therefore, root of x squared equals x. I mean, it's just repeating the same thing over a couple times. So, like the child that's being introduced to the topic for the first time, you walk them through each of the individual steps so that you see what's going on. But once you get past the introductory level of it, you don't need to do those things anymore.
So, let's move on to something else if you're just going to be this way, which I expect anyway, but just don't understand why you won't put numerals on the page. That's as simple as anybody needs to understand.
What evidence do you have then?
For what?
For the Earth shape that you think it is.
Oh, whatever you want.
Measurements of the flatness of
How about
water.
Rivers?
Yeah, measurements. How about some measurements?
How about rivers?
Whatever. Just
How about rivers?
Get some measurements of rivers then.
I don't know if I have that handy, but rivers all ramp down from the mountains to sea level. And Mississippi is one of the best examples. No kidding. And Mississippi drops to even 2 inches per mile squared for 200 miles almost. And it doesn't even have 1,500 foot elevation and doesn't ever exceed even 6.5 inches per mile squared.
Well, let's see the measurements then. What? There's two of me now. You just I think you turned off your sharing. Did you go somewhere, Iggy? Oh my goodness. I don't know where he is right now. He turned off his microphone, he turned off his camera, but he's still in the Zoom call, so oh man. All right. Lovebot says beep boop. Welcome back to the channel. That error / close parenthesis question mark 6 ampersand. Wrong channel. Who booted me up here? Thanks, Lovebot. Are you back, Iggy? What happened?
Sorry about that. I opened in a new tab, but it wouldn't do it. All right, so we're back here.
I got a new tab. Your microphone is way different now.
Is it lower or worse or better?
It's lower.
I think it's better, but okay.
Now you're just showing me. Oh yeah, okay. Yep, we're watching a live tech support call.
Hopefully that goes back to normal.
That's even less good. Though I can't hear you as well, which some people might say is better.
Right. Let's see. Can't do anything about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a something other than your webcam mic that you're using?
Not really, no.
No?
I can try it, but let me get back to just a list of rivers. And
all right, what are we seeing here?
so this is the list of river systems by length.
Okay.
And they're up to 189 now.
Okay.
And as soon as one of these doesn't work for the ball earth, then none of them can work because they would never be themselves.
They can never be themselves.
Right. They wouldn't have the same volume. They wouldn't have the same speed or even meandering.
They'd have different meandering.
But it's just, right.
I don't
So
know what that means.
it's just to show, they call it sinuosity, how a river bends all over the place.
Okay.
I don't know if it's large enough to see, but let's see if I can get that there.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you're going with this. Are you? Is it going somewhere?
Is
I
this
hope it is.
any legible on the right hand side where my cursor is?
On the right hand side, well, it's got the coordinates. It says Mississippi starts in Itasca State Park, which I've been to.
Yeah. Is that legible, you think, for everybody, or?
No, I'll zoom it in a little bit for people.
Oh, that's all right.
Just to see
can
what
bump
you're.
it.
There you go.
I'll
Wait,
bump it.
I'm gonna bump it.
Yeah.
People, he's bumping it. I will unbump it on my side. I had
Okay.
bumped it.
Oh, we're just in this area on the right. Looking at the elevation that it starts with is 1475,
Yes.
and then its length is about 2340.
Okay.
And let me just see if I get this right. Don't always. No, I got it wrong. Oh, I'm doing that right.
Hmm.
So these are 6.3 inches per mile squared for the Mississippi.
What are you calculating there?
The elevation as to the length.
Okay.
That
Elevation to length. Okay. So you've determined that there is an elevation change from the beginning to the end. Okay.
Correct.
Then what?
That proves that you're under the very wrong anyway, but 8 inches per mile squared.
But
You're
8
only
inches
at
per mile
6.2.
squared is 8 inches per mile squared is what? What is 8 inches per mile
The
squared?
alleged,
The what?
it's the alleged curvature of the Earth's surface.
Curvature. Okay, so it's actually linear drop from horizontal tangent, but now what did you show here in this this panel here? What are you showing here?
I'm showing in the calculator that the curvature for the Mississippi could not match the claimed curvature of a ball Earth.
But Iggy,
But it's only 6.3 inches.
Iggy, you didn't show the curvature rate. You showed something else. You showed the elevation drop. So now,
Well, that's fine. You already said that that's an elevation drop for 8 inches per mile squared.
yeah, but you're showing
that painting.
elevation. You're showing elevation, not curve. So
It doesn't matter. It's still a straight line drop, like you said, for 8 inches.
yeah, but you're not showing. Right. So this page is showing you elevation change, not
Right.
curve. Right. So what you need to do is you need to show the measurements of curve or not curve, but instead what you're showing is the measurements of elevation. So could you show maybe measurements of
Incorrect.
curve or not curve, please?
I am showing the measurements of curve.
But no, it says elevation right on screen there. It says elevation change, right? So elevation.
Right, and the calculator showed exactly your curvature rate or drop rate in our case.
Yeah, but what you're asking the to do here in this formula is the curvature, but actually what this Wikipedia page is showing you elevation change. They're very different. Curvature is not elevation.
No, but you must have a elevation of 8 inches per mile squared in order to make it anywhere.
No.
Yes.
Again, you're showing what you're showing here is elevation. You didn't do anything for curve, but then you're trying to apply the curve formula to elevation. It's different. Curve and elevation are different, Iggy. Curve and elevation are not the same. Why is
It's
that?
not curvature.
But
It's
you're literally, I mean,
elevation
it's
drop.
right on screen. It shows, it's literally just saying right there on screen, elevation. And you're saying, I'm going to test for curvature in the elevation change. But you need to actually test for curvature instead of elevation. But you're,
Incorrect.
I don't, I mean, this is hilariously funny, Iggy, that you
Go,
don't know the
go ahead
difference
and
between
disprove it.
curvature and elevation. So
I'll go ahead and disprove it.
let me show you right here's a drawing, this right here, a little simple one. So this is right here, we've got elevation right there. So this is elevation. So this, what you're showing there on the Wikipedia page, is the elevation away from mean sea level. This is mean sea level on a globe, is this curve,
Right.
right? And this is the elevation change. So you showed that the
Right.
Mississippi is at an elevation. What was the starting elevation? 1,000 feet?
1475.
1475 feet, right? So then from Itasca State Park, it flows down through Minneapolis, down across Iowa and Missouri, and all the way down into Louisiana, and dumps into the Gulf of Mexico there, losing elevation the whole time. But that's not the curvature rate. Curvature rate
It
is
is the
different.
same as the curvature rate.
Elevation is not curvature.
It's the same as it's
Elevation.
the same as the curvature rate.
No,
I did
elevation
work
is
up the drop rate.
elevation is not curve, right? So when you were doing that, when you're doing that math, the 8 inches per mile squared, which really isn't quite what you wanted, but that's fine. I'll let you maybe try it for this one. It doesn't really do what you want, but that's fine. This is what you were actually.
Completely wrong.
Show you here. This is right here. This is what you were doing this right. So here is the horizontal tangent at sea level, right there,
Right.
and then this is the amount. But that doesn't, that's a whole different thing than this. And in fact, because you were
Well,
starting
Incorrect.
there,
Incorrect.
you were starting actually here, right
Incorrect.
here, and then so this the number goes off the page. This is
Wrong.
what you were looking at,
That is
but
not at all.
yeah, but so
That
but
is not at all what I was
Iggy,
doing.
I mean, it's kind of embarrassing that you don't know the difference between elevation and curvature. Very,
No, I know
very,
exactly what the
very
difference is.
embarrassing that you.
And you did so very eloquently state for everyone that it is exactly what I did.
No,
That it
you showed elevation change,
You
and then you
drop from a
tried to
tangent.
then you
The
tried to
starting
test for
point.
curvature. Totally different things. Curvature and elevation are totally different things. So the way it works on a
So what's the
sphere,
curvature rate? So what is the curvature rate?
the curvature rate is different from elevation. So you showed elevation
Are you
change.
saying that the curvature rate would still be satisfied with the ball earth of 8 inches per mile squared?
It's certainly. I mean, that's not the curvature rate. Curvature rate isn't a linear drop from horizontal tangent. But the curvature rate is actually 1 degree per 69 miles. That's a better way to state the curvature rate. Though you could do it. Some people have said you do it with calculus, and it's an instantaneous vector at any point.
It's wrong.
So, an instantaneous vector at any point is wrong.
No, the 8 inches is wrong anyway. But how
The
would
8
you
inches.
get
8
your
inches.
river
Yeah.
on a ball that is 8 inches per mile squared, which is 99% of your calculations, as fraudulent as they are?
But that's the wrong formula for what you're trying to do.
No, it's not. Go ahead and start your river at 1,400 feet at 1 o'clock on a clock face, and try to get it to 11 o'clock on a 8 inches per mile squared.
But it's
ball.
at an elevation away from the surface, right? So
It doesn't matter.
mean sea level on a globe, mean sea level is a curved surface that matches the mean sea level. And elevation above mean sea level is is just how far you are away from that. And you could also say it's a change in your distance away from the origin of the earth, the center point of the earth.
Are you stating that a river is different from a gutter?
No, they both have a drop in elevation. It's a slope. Right. It's a slope of changing elevation. It's changing how far it is from the mean sea level.
Right. And how far would your Mississippi River have to be up in its source elevation in order to make it to the Gulf of Mexico?
Any amount, more would make it flow faster, and
Very
less
wrong.
would make it flow slower. Iggy, this isn't a complicated topic, but you seem very confused in that you're conflating.
I'm not confused at all.
You're conflating elevation with curvature.
I just gave you measurements and everything.
No,
and you're just denying.
You gave me a measurement of elevation, and I agree that the elevation is 1,400. Sure, sounds great. And as it flows from Lake Itasca to Minneapolis, it reduces in elevation. And in Minneapolis area, we're about 900, I think, feet, somewhere between 900 and 1,000. So it lost about 400 feet in elevation from northern Minnesota to get down to Minneapolis here.
And yet you would claim on a ball that every direction from you is not uphill for a river?
No, so downhill is also a thing. Yeah, so to go from Minneapolis down towards the Gulf of Mexico, the Mississippi River is downhill from here.
Yes, yeah. But you must be at a certain elevation in order to overcome the distance that it is running. Otherwise, you will have a lake, never a river.
Yes. You need to have a ever in decreasing elevation.
Wrong.
Oh, you think that it should increase in elevation for a river to flow? Is that right?
No, you must overcome the curvature rate of a ball.
No.
If you cannot exceed that, you will never have a river.
Again, you're conflating elevation and curve.
I'm not conflating anything.
Yeah, you absolutely. You're not. You're completely conflating. You're completely.
You don't have the brain power to understand what you're even.
How is this difficult? How is this difficult for you? It really isn't that hard. I mean, it's not even thinking in 3D that you're failing at. You're failing to think in 2D. I drew it in 2D for you,
wrong. And
you didn't get it.
You drew it wrong. Will you draw it from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock?
But 3 run, you're right. I'll try it again. I'll do it. I'll do a fresh one for you. So we've got this. This here is 0 elevation. So all along here we've got 0 elevation. Okay, there's the 0 elevation.
I can imagine what this is.
Right. That's the surface of a sphere, and then so you've got a point here. I'm going to put a point there, and we're going to say that is 1,000 sheep units high. Right there. Right. That point is. So now that point, if it over here is also 1,000 sheep units high.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about 0.
No, I'm just and so it's 1,000 sheep units above 0 here. It's 1,000 sheep units above 0 there, and between them. Oh, all right, we'll get a good curve there. Between them is a curve which is concentric to the curve of the Earth.
That's fine.
Okay, and then so now, but they're both at 1,000 elevation. Now, if I'm going to draw one at 500 sheep units right here.
That doesn't apply to what we're talking
about. So here's 500 sheep units elevation, and then I'm going to connect them in a curve, right?
Which is not what we're talking about whatsoever.
It is because we're talking about elevation change, right? So
we're talking about a straight ramp.
There we go. So there it is. That's a curved ramp actually, because everything is curved.
It doesn't matter if it's curved or not.
1,000.
Curved or not.
1,000.
You must have a decreasing.
500
You
decreasing
can't
right
go
there.
1,000 to 1,000.
Well, yeah. Well, this
Well,
would
it's
have
gonna be
no
ever
flow. This
increasing.
would be Lake Itasca. It's the same elevation across the top of it here. But then you've got the
Oh,
Mississippi
okay.
River
Well, that's the
right
lake
at
that
right
that's
at the
coming
head
from. That's fine.
right at the headwaters. We've got the headwaters of the Mississippi right
Please
there
label
at 1,000, right? And then down here at 500, this is
Can
a
you please label that?
deep. Well, you want me to write headwaters? Okay.
No, can you, headwaters or just lake is fine for those between those 2 points.
There you go. How's that?
That's good.
Right. So then it's going downstream and decreasing in elevation to get to 500.
Right.
Right. And then let's say it's that first part was kind of steep, and now the second part is not, and we're going to call this one. The next part is 400 sheep units. Right there, way down here. You see that? 400 sheep units.
That's a complete fraud
Okay, so
of an
now-
exaggeration.
So now, yeah, it's an
But
exaggeration.
of course we're going to go with it. So because you know you're already sunk.
And my drawing is a little crappy. It's not very not very good. But anyway, so imagine I did a better drawing. So you've got 500 feet sheep length elevation here, and 400 sheep length elevation there. This is downhill.
Incorrect.
This is downhill on a globe.
Bullshit.
This has decreased
No,
in
it's not.
elevation. Well, what's the elevation
Wrong.
here? What's the elevation here? Iggy, what's the elevation here? What's
Well, it's just a ridiculous 400.
What 400? And what's the elevation here?
500.
500. So did that decrease in elevation?
Yes.
Okay. Would water flow because the elevation decreased?
Around a ball in that diagram? No, never.
Why not?
Because you're you must have a higher elevation in order to ramp down to
Yep.
sea level.
Yep. It's higher
You
elevation.
cannot
It's 500.
overcome the
You agreed this was
you cannot
500
overcome-
elevation. That's 400 elevation.
Right,
So the
according
elevation
to
decreased.
your extremely poor diagram. That is just nothing but a fraud.
But what's
And
the
a lie.
error? Other than my drawing skills, what's the error here?
That you're extending a elevation ridiculously around the ball.
Why? What's the error though? Why can't I do
Because
that?
a river is a straight line of sight. Is a tangent.
So you've
It is
said,
not
but you didn't provide
is
the
not-
measurements of it. I'm just working in a hypothetical. This is how it works on a globe.
Well, that's what
On a
I'm
globe,
saying.
It decreased.
That's what I'm saying.
But it decreased
Your
in elevation.
hypothetical is
Yeah.
a little nonsense.
True or false? Did it decrease in elevation between these two?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Okay. So on a ball, it would flow, right?
No,
Why not?
because your your example is of a hypothetical is ridiculously
Please
wrong
point out
and flawed.
the very specific error so that I can fix it.
A very specific error starts at the headwaters and continues all the way to 400.
Yeah, of course it does. It
continues.
starts at the headwaters at 1,000, goes down to 500, and then it continues all the way down to 400. So it's
Right.
downhill the whole way. So what's wrong with it?
Except for a river is a tangent. It is not a curved line.
But on a ball, hypothetically on a ball, what's wrong with the geometry here?
That you're curving a river that does not curve.
Why not on a ball would it curve?
Because it does not, in our case of the Mississippi, it does not.
No, but
have
I'm
a
asking.
curvature rate
I'm asking on a
that
ball,
matches
on
the
a ball, on a ball, on a ball, on a ball, on a hypothetical ball. We're just talking theory here, hypothetical here. On a ball, what's wrong with this?
It's not a straight line tangent.
But on a ball, you wouldn't expect a straight line tangent because on a ball,
That's incorrect.
on a ball with
It must be.
Why?
It must be a straight line tangent in order
Why?
for a river to flow.
Why on a ball? Why on a ball would that be necessary?
Because you have to start at an elevation
Yep, elevation of
that
1,000.
exceeds your ball's curvature rate.
Why?
Otherwise, it will not flow. It will only stop at the curvature rate that it cannot get over.
Why? If it's decreasing in elevation, why would it not do that?
because it's not keeping up with the curvature rate.
But on a ball, it doesn't have to. It just has to decrease in elevation.
That is incorrect.
Well, then why? Just tell me why it doesn't need
Because
to just decrease in elevation.
It must be line of sight.
No, on a ball, why does it have to decrease? Why can't elevation change just do enough?
Because your sea level is already zeroed out at the surface.
Yeah, it's getting closer. Elevation, every inch of the river is getting closer and closer to sea level. It's decreasing in elevation the entire way.
Right, but you're not satisfying the curvature rate if you're not starting at a high enough elevation.
But
if you start at an elevation of 1,000,
but I'm asking
why you're traveling 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
You will exceed the curvature rate. You will have a foot per mile drop if you have 1,000 foot elevation for a 1,000-mile run Iggy, of river.
But Iggy, why does it have to be not just elevation change?
Why does it have to not be just elevation change? Yeah,
you're saying elevation change isn't enough on a ball. And I'm asking why? Why is elevation change on a ball not good enough?
Because it depends on your elevation starting height.
Yep.
If you're not starting high enough, and you're not close enough to your sea that you're trying to get to, you will roadblock out.
Yeah, so if you're always decreasing in elevation, then why would it not do it?
Because you didn't start high enough.
But if you're always decreasing in elevation, why is it not good enough?
Because you can't run far enough to get to the sea. Because you did not start high enough. Ever decreasing doesn't matter. It bottoms out somewhere. And if it bottoms out too quickly because you didn't start high enough, then you are screwed. You have a lake. You don't have a river.
Yeah, if you don't decrease in elevation. But if you decrease in elevation, then it'll...
Incorrect.
And why?
No, it won't. It will only flow.
All you've done... You haven't explained why. You just keep asserting...
I did explain why.
You just keep asserting your same thing.
I explained 3 times already.
No, you just reasserted...
I'm not asserting anything.
You made the claim.
I started out with the example of a measured elevation that cannot achieve the distance that is claimed on a ball Earth.
Yeah, but you compared the elevation change to your claimed curvature rate, which isn't the right thing, right? All you need to do is decrease elevation to flow. That's it.
It's a rate of drop. It's a rate of drop, as you said.
Drop as relative to mean sea level. That's what you need to do.
Relative to the source height tangent.
No, all you have to do is get to a lower elevation. That's all. That's how the physics actually works, Iggy.
Wrong.
And
so do a tangent on your ball.
What color is the sky in your world, Iggy? What color is the sky in your world?
It is McToon, piece of shit liar, green.
All right. Because
go ahead and draw a tangent.
Not even flat earthers agree with you, Iggy.
Please draw a tangent on your ball.
Not even flat earthers agree with you, Iggy.
Please draw a tangent on your ball.
Why?
Because you have to have a 1,500 foot elevation.
You still haven't. All you've done is say it has to, but you haven't explained why. I'm saying all it needs to do is decrease in elevation, and the whole live chat is like, yeah, all it has to do is decrease in elevation, and it'll flow. And you're like, nuh-uh, but you're not really saying, I
didn't say nuh-uh at all.
Yeah, you just.
I didn't say nuh-uh at all.
How about you do?
I said you will stop.
God, how about you do the drawing? You do the drawing.
I don't have the ability to do that. Sorry. I just asked you to do it for me, actually.
You don't have the ability to make a drawing?
No.
Why not?
I don't have any paper in front of me or a Sharpie available.
All right. Well, obviously we went around in circles on that one.
Yeah, because you won't do a tangent. That's all. To prove yourself wrong.
All right. So, do you have any measurements of flat? I guess that didn't go well, did it?
It did go very well for me. Unfortunately, not for you, but because you're an idiot. But I can't help that. I can only
Oh my god.
try to nurse you along,
All
but
right.
you won't
Let's
go
do
there.
this.
You're
All
just
right.
interested in subscribers and income.
Uh, let's see. On a ball, does water need elevation reduction to flow? All right, I'm going to ask that question
Yes.
to the chat.
Yes, it does.
No, you say it doesn't need that. You say it needs
I
more than
didn't.
that.
I
You say it needs
at
more
no
than that.
time did I say that.
Oh,
At no
okay.
time did I
So
say that.
awesome. So then you agree with me. This is an elevation reduction right here, so water will flow. You have no problem with this then?
Not around the ball. Not around the ball. It won't.
Well, question is, on a ball, does water need elevation reduction to flow? That's the question. And you say,
It does in a straight line. Yes,
and why would a straight line? Why would you need a straight line up on a ball?
because that's how all rivers work. In reality.
Because it. So you didn't actually provide anything. You just said because in reality. So I'm
No,
asking. I'm asking on a ball, right? Which is where we live. On a ball, why is it? Why is elevation change not enough?
because you have to have a elevation height starting point that is large enough, tall enough, in order to achieve the distance that you need to reach your sea level in this case. And you don't have that with the Mississippi.
But all you did was assert that again. Why is that necessary?
Because otherwise it will not flow. It will crash into the curvature of your ball
Okay.
because
Again,
it cannot exceed it any longer.
all you did was reassert the same thing again. You didn't explain the underlying reason why.
I did just now.
No, in fact, you just reasserted your same claim.
What aren't you listening to?
I
If you
ask
have
you.
a
I
wedge of
ask you. I
if you
ask
have a
you.
wedge of cheese, if you have a wedge of cheese that is only so tall at its thickest point, it will end on the ball before the curvature ends. If that happens to be water flowing down the face of the cheese, you will only end up with a lake
No.
until the height of the cheese is exceeded, and then your lake will overflow.
Is this cheese flexible cheese?
It can be curved,
Okay, so let's take
but
the
it
bottom.
cannot.
Let's take the
But if
bottom
it's
part of
not
the cheese and
curved,
curve that bottom part of the cheese, right?
right,
So we've got the elevation at the top there, and then it goes down and gets smaller all the way towards the end of the cheese
right, and
around the
stops there.
curve. So why, if we do that, all it needs to do is get wedging down, and that's what
Right.
this is doing here. This is a very large piece of cheese. We've got a thick
Yeah,
piece
but
here,
you're
but it's flexible all the way
hypothetical.
around. Yep, that's. Yep.
Your hypothetical is pathetical. You're curving
But
around a ball, which it cannot do
but why
by
not?
thousands of miles.
But
By
why?
thousands of miles.
But why not? You said the cheese wedge could bend, and so I just made a bendy
Right.
cheese wedge.
You're not starting your lake at a high enough elevation to ever make it to your 400
So,
elevation.
so there's some magical thickness that the cheese must be in order for it to flow.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and can you show the math for that then? The necessary the
I,
geometrical proof for that, please.
I already did that.
No, the geometrical
That's what
proof. Yeah,
that's what I started with.
yeah, the geometrical proof though. You didn't show that.
I did show that.
Oh, you did.
I showed that the elevation of the Mississippi will never reach the Gulf of Mexico on the whole
Yeah.
Earth.
So what you
Will
did
only
is.
work on a flat Earth.
Yeah, well, what you said actually is that the wedge of cheese isn't thick enough at the headwaters, and
Correct.
I'm asking why, if you have a wedge of cheese, your words, if you have a wedge of cheese, why doesn't it work if it's only if it's not steep enough, as long as you can flex it around the curve.
because you could only flex it so far on the curve because your elevation dictated the maximum of your distance.
Thank goodness. All right. Do you have anything else? Because this is clearly not going well for you.
Well, you're wrong about that. You've been completely disproven.
Hmm.
Mississippi can only work on a flat Earth, never on the claimed bald Earth,
So you said.
as I just demonstrated
All
and
right.
calculated for everyone.
All right.
A proven fact.
Yep. All right. Let's see. We got the poll. On a ball, does water need elevation reduction to flow? 81% yes. 18%
Yes.
said no. Interesting. Out of 205 votes. I don't know why
They are
people
wrong.
voted. I don't know why people voted no. People that voted no, why did you vote no? That's a good question. All right. Andrew Stoll says he didn't demonstrate crap.
Well, Andrew's an idiot and doesn't know how to listen to a single thing. That's a
Apparently
shame.
that's your opinion.
That's
Serena's
what I've
one.
proven now.
Serena's one says that Flatzoid is the Black Knight. 'Tis but a scratch. I think we've got a contender for that. And Pat the chat said whoosh. There it is.
Yay.
The grumpy old mechanic.
Who still doesn't understand shit.
The grumpy old mechanic comes in with something very much on point. Says the mix of arrogance and stupidity is amazing.
And he actually wrote that. Wow.
Yeah, he did.
That's surprising.
PhD Tony says
People usually learn that self-honest.
So, a PhD does not understand Pythagorean's theorem, but this numpty does. This is an entirely geometric proof of the theorem. He can look it up. But he thinks that you have to do extra squaring and square rooting on the way.
Yeah, you do. You have to.
Pat in the chat says
And you
this
wouldn't do my
dude.
measurement. You wouldn't measure either for me.
Pat in the chat says this dude is a mathematician. Don't forget, eye rolls ad infinitum. Yes.
Yep.
Luke Firewalker says, I
Yes.
can't believe we're arguing Pythagorean's theorem. Nate Walker
Yes, you
says,
don't
we
know.
need an app that tracks these kinds of engineers. Ooh. Are you in the app that tracks engineers?
No, I would not be part of that. We don't need engineers anymore. We just need chart readers.
You don't need engineers. Who's going to design the computer that you're going to buy next?
I can do that.
An engineer is going to design it.
Wrong.
Wrong. Are you
Yep.
going to fab the chip?
Yeah, everything's already known.
So the chip, the next CPU chip that's going to be fabbed by Intel is already done. So you don't need any engineers to create that new design, right? Is that what you're saying?
Nope. Yes.
So who's going to design that chip then?
Just a designer, not an engineer.
So do you think that the computer engineer that designs the chip is not a computer engineer?
Correct.
You
They were
don't,
just a designer.
you don't know much about engineering, I guess.
Well, no, the only engineer you can be is an electrical engineer to do that. But
Well,
you don't need
I mean,
that.
you can specialize. You could be a computer engineer. It's Milwaukee School of Engineering has a degree program in computer engineering. In fact, one of the schools that I looked at going to when I was looking at engineering schools.
That's great.
A friend of mine that I went to school with is an engineer at Digi, company in the Twin Cities here. He's an engineer. He designs circuit boards, but apparently he doesn't do anything. Apparently, according to you,
He's not needed anymore. No.
he's not. So who's going to design the next circuit board that Digi needs to design because they have a customer says, hey, we need a circuit board that does this?
Just a designer.
Just a designer.
We already know what electricity needs to do.
Yeah, but he's an engineer and he does the work right now. So who's going to
Doesn't
do it
matter.
if he's not there anymore?
Just a designer
Just
who
to
takes
design.
the old known information and applies it. That's all.
I don't think you know how fabbing works.
No,
How
I
circuit
do
board
understand
fabbing
that.
works.
Don't need an engineer to build a building or anything anymore.
You don't need an engineer to make a building?
Nope.
Wow. But
Every,
why
everything's
not?
already known.
Everything's
Everything's
already
already
known.
known. Yep.
But engineers take what's known and apply it when they
Right.
design something.
They're
That's what
just
an engineer
designers in
does.
that case.
They're just
They're just
designers.
designers in that case. Yep.
They're not engineers anymore then. So to you,
No.
what do you think an engineer does?
An engineer would actually be only dealing with new things that we don't know.
Why would an engineer be dealing with new things that we don't know?
Because we always want to know additional things or more things.
I think what
If
you've
there's a
described
better
there,
way,
yeah, what you've
if there's a
described
better
there is
way,
a
then they may
scientist,
find it.
somebody that's testing new
Well, an engineer
hypotheses.
is, yep, you can call an engineer a scientist or a scientist an engineer, all you want. They're both the same thing.
Wow. And when did you go to engineering school? To know this?
I did not.
Ah. Turns out, Iggy, I did go to engineering school. And
Ooh,
in my engineering classes, while we did do science, the engineering classes weren't, exploring the new cutting edges of science. That's a different field.
right. No, they
Engineers
told you what charts.
engineers generally take what's already, like you said, already understood about a field and apply it to something. Scientists are going out and exploring the edges of science and figuring out new things. It's quite different in what they do.
Well, it says you, but I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, says me. Yeah, and I mean, and why would I know? I mean, I only went to school for it, so silly me.
Yep.
You, who didn't go to school for it, definitely knows more about the
Right.
field than any
No, you
engineer
already
ever.
agreed with me.
Right. So yeah.
Right.
So
You already agreed with me.
oh dear no. Indie Tiger's sci-fi
did.
review says, "Ask Iggy to explain Manning's equation, please." Could you explain Manning's equation?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay. Many
It's
Karen
probably
says,
not applicable.
"Nuclear facepalm." Well said. And then Judy, you got this, says, "Engage facepalm protection before it's too late." People, if you haven't already deployed it, good luck.
I would agree, definitely.
Fa of the YouTube family says, "I called 911 on the professor for his illegal math. He's in trouble now."
Yep.
Professor Parks,
Yep.
the math police are going to come get you.
He won't do the measurement either to see what the real world actually dictates. 25 is not the answer
Yeah, it's 5.
that you would hope for.
It's 5.
Right, if you double square root it.
PhD Tony says, "While you have one of the great mathematical minds out of a generation here, what are his thoughts on the Poincare conjecture?"
I don't have any viewpoints of that because I don't know what it is.
Oh, PhD Tony. Someday, maybe Iggy can apply his
That's fill
mind
me
to
in.
the Poincare conjecture
I'll figure it out.
by double squaring and then square rooting. Baux
Yep.
1 says, "Iggy's still drinking his own bathwater, I see. Are you drinking bathwater?"
Yep.
I've got Toonshine.
Nice.
What is that?
I just finished my whiskey, so I'm switching over to Kool-Aid. As
Kool-Aid.
everybody must assume.
Hold on, I need a bit more Toonshine here. Hold on.
Nice.
That's not quite strong enough tonight. Fa of the QTube family says that I should send you to Fight the Flat Earth's remedial classroom.
Oh yeah, I would tear him apart.
I'm sure you.
Just like I tore you apart today. Put you to shame today. So
All right. Peachy Tony says.
Jamie up the lie.
Peachy Tony has a bit of a math thing he's written down here. He says a plus b all squared equals a squared plus b squared plus 2ab.
Max.
equals square of side C plus 4 right triangles of sides A and B equals C squared plus 4 times the sum AB divided by 2 equals
Beautiful.
C squared plus 2AB. Therefore, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So what he did is he applied a bunch of algebra there.
Yep.
Amazing stuff. So,
Not
Turing
really,
test.
no.
Turing test has
Completely
asked
useless.
Iggy for the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle with the shorter side of 5 and 12. Any mathematician knows and or can calculate this number. So, what's the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle with the shorter sides of 5 and 12?
Let's see if I can figure that out. Let's see.
I'll write it down. We got 5. We got 12.
I'll go with 7.
7.
Yep.
So you are saying that this side is 7.
Yep.
This side is 12.
Is that right? Let's see. Oh, wait. I must change my final answer, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
So it'll be 24.
I think you're wrong.
Yep.
Why 24?
I was given bad advice, apparently.
Why do you think 24?
Someone says you square the short leg and then simply subtract the long leg, and that will give you Pythagoras' solution.
Whoa, that's
It's
new.
a few times.
Hold
a
on
few
a sec.
times on YouTube. Actually.
Hold on a second. I gotta move to the. We're gonna have to go to that camera, the upper camera again. This is something.
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. I can probably bring it up if you want.
All right, here we are. I'll share it. I'll send you. All right, you see it here? We got 5.
Yep.
We got 12. What is the Pythagorean theorem? That is A squared. I'm going to do lowercase.
25.
Plus B squared equals C squared. 5 here. 5 squared.
Yep.
Plus 12 squared equals C squared. Right? What's 5 squared?
25.
Okay, and what is 12 squared?
144.
Okay, equals C squared. Right? So what's 25 plus 144?
I don't know. Let's see.
How about that?
What's C squared?
Okay, now what do we do?
Square C.
All right,
As in 169.
now what? I
That doesn't
squared
apply.
C. I squared C, like you said.
No, you did not. You did not square the numeral. You're saying 169 is what C squared is. To go to C4 is not squaring.
You said, and I quote, square C. So I did. C squared is C to the power 4.
And you said C squared is 169.
Yeah.
Did you not?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, this is correct,
Oh.
right here. But for some reason, you thought this was what. But you want me to not do that? All right, I'll scratch that out. So
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do with this now?
Square 169.
Why am I squaring
Since you're
one?
going to have to get,
Okay, but now
since
if I
you're gonna act
square,
stupid.
but if I square this side, then I have to do the same thing on this side, don't I? That's the rule of algebra. Everything I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other side of the equal sign. That
Wrong.
it's a fundamental part of algebra.
You said 169. You said 169 is C squared. I did not.
No, the Pythagorean theorem says that.
No, it does not.
Well, we just went through it.
No, Pythagorean theorem says 169 is C. Then you must square 169 in order
I
to
mean, we went right.
complete Pythagorean's theorem,
A squared plus B squared
which
equals
you
C
will not
squared.
do.
Right? Is this correct?
Which you will not do.
Is this correct?
Why won't you do? Why
Why?
won't you do the
Hold
equation?
on. We're going to go through this again. I'm doing the equation. A squared plus B squared equals C. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now I took A right here. This is A.
And you squared it.
And I took B right here. B. And this is C. Sorry. So I plugged in for the variable A, I plugged in 5.
Yep.
And I plugged in for the variable B 12. Then I,
Yep.
right? And then I didn't do anything with C. I just left C squared. I just left it C squared. Right?
Right.
Okay. So then I go 25. I did the right? And then 12 squared is 144. Right?
Right.
And then that's, I do the arithmetic there. 169 equals, and I didn't change anything here, so C squared. Right?
Right.
Now what?
But you did not complete the equation.
Yeah, now what do I do?
You have to square 169.
Okay, so I square 169, which gives me, so 28561. Now, since I squared that side right here, right? What do I do with C squared?
That's it. You're done. The equation.
But I need to write down this side, the right side of the equal sign. I need to write down right here. What do I write here? Right in this.
28,561.
No, right here on the right side. What do I write here? Because we got C squared.
But
So I
you said
I
you have
squared
the equation.
I squared the left side. Should I also square the right side?
Yes.
So then
With the same result.
I squared the right side.
Wrong. Incorrect.
You told me to square the right side, so I did.
No, I did not. I told you to write
Oh.
28,561.
But what do I do with C here? Where did C go?
C didn't go anywhere.
But I'm
It's still on
writing
the right side.
I'm writing the next line down, right? I've wrapped up to here. So you said square 169, so I squared 169. I squared the left side. So what do I do to the right side to keep it equal?
Right in the same number.
So 28,561. So I write the same number on both sides. So all right. So I've got 28,000. 28,561 equals 28,561. Awesome. Now what?
Right. That's it. You're done.
I'm done.
According to Pythagoras.
I've applied the Pythagorean theorem.
Yes. Correctly.
No, that is not applying
Yes.
the Pythagorean theorem. Because what you did there is, for some reason, you said square
Wrong.
this side and didn't say what to do to this side. So if I square the left side, I need to square the right side as well, because everything you do on the left side, you have to do on the right side.
Well, go ahead and square it then if you want to go to C4.
But I don't want to. I want to solve
not
for
correct.
C. So when I solve for C, what I do is right here. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to solve for C. I'm going to take the square root of C squared, and I'm going to take the square root of 169.
Right.
Right. I applied the square root to both sides, giving me just C on that
13.
side and 13 here. And this is actually 13. This is the application of the Pythagorean theorem in the end. This is not.
Right. And then that means you have 13 on the other side.
Yeah, C equals 13. So there you go. Pythagorean theorem says that
Right.
that should be 13.
Okay.
Somebody can draw
Like I said,
out, somebody can use their ruler, draw 5, draw 12,
Yep.
and measure the 13, and they'll find the Pythagorean theorem works just fine.
Right. Just like I said in the beginning.
but this is what you said to do. Why did we get to this 28,000?
Because you have to do your square root, because that's what you claim you must do.
The 28,000 is not the square root. 28,000 is the square.
Right, that is the square, not the square root, as the equation dictates. You're starting with C, you're not starting with C squared.
Goodness. What a mess. All right. It's all right. I'm switching my camera.
Now the other question is, does that measure out though?
Yes. I'll draw it right now. I will.
Okay. Because I do have numbers that don't measure up,
I'd
which
love
is
to
my
see-
whole point of the 9 and 16.
I'd love to see that. You can give me numbers, and then I'll do it. All right. So we got 12. Can't
Okay.
quite get 12 on this page. The page is only. So I'll use metric.
Do you want to start with those numbers instead, or these
I'm gonna do
numbers?
12 right here,
Okay, these numbers.
right there. 12 and 5. Right
That'll be
there,
good. We'll have a good example, hopefully.
there, and then of course I'm estimating the right angle there, but then we'll go. Oh, I should send it to people. They're not seeing what I'm doing. All right, there we go. So I'll measure it right there. We've got 13.
Oh, we can't see your document, Cam.
Everybody else could. But
Oh, okay.
send it to you. There you go. So there it is, 5 and 12. I measured it,
Okay, great.
and then
Thank you.
got right there 13 dead on right there. So
Can we zoom in on that?
want me to zoom? I can move it closer.
Okay, great.
Right there it is, 13. It's hard to hold. Right there. There it
All right,
is.
it looks like it's good.
All right.
That's
So
a
now
good example.
you say you've got numbers that don't work. So what? I'll do the math first, right?
Right. And we'll do it your way.
All right. What are the numbers?
So we'll do 9 plus 16.
A 9 on one side and a 16 on the other.
Do you want to do the square root of those first?
Just give me the sides of the triangle.
Okay, so let's go 3 and 4.
I already did 3 and 4. Gives
Squared.
us 5. Yeah, it gives us 5. So what numbers don't work? You said you've got numbers that don't work.
Wrong. No, that's wrong.
I already went through it. My gosh.
That's not doing what you just previously did. So then C squared would be 25. Can you measure that, please?
There's no 25 in here. You just get right there.
Can you go back to your previous page?
You don't measure the 25. You don't measure the 9. You don't measure the 16. That's not what you do when you're applying the Pythagorean theorem. So you said you've got numbers that don't work for the Pythagorean theorem. So tell me the numbers of the triangle that don't work for the Pythagorean theorem. I'll give it a shot here.
Well, if we don't square them, then 9 and 16 do not equal 25.
Yeah, I applied the Pythagorean theorem, so that's right. So what application of the Pythagorean theorem do you think does not work?
3 plus 4.
If you don't do 3
If you
plus
do it
4, you do
correctly.
3 squared plus 4 squared, and then you take the square root of the whole thing. I did it right here.
If you do the equation correctly, like you did on
Yeah.
the previous page,
I
then
did
we
it
will
correctly
not
right here.
end up
I
with
just
25.
totally.
No, you do not.
9 plus 16. What is
Will
9
you
plus
go back?
16? 9 plus
Will you
16
go back?
is 25.
Will you go back to the previous page?
Do you think that 9 plus 16 is not 25?
No.
There's the previous page. What's wrong? It's a different example. 5, 12,
And
13.
where is square root as part of the equation under your 12?
Because in order to get CL to solve for C, you have to take square root of this side and square root of this side. Right here. That's the step right there.
There you go.
To get CL alone, you have to square root. That's what you do to get CL alone right there.
That is not correct.
What's
Even
wrong?
the textbook show you that was wrong.
Oh my gosh. The textbook told me I'm right. Oh my gosh.
No, it did not.
Iggy, how can you be so bad at this? I mean,
The textbook proved me right, proved you wrong. That's why you wouldn't write numerals the first time.
it's embarrassing for you. I mean, right here.
They walk you through
Find
it. They
x
walk you through
squared.
it for a reason.
Find x squared. Root x squared is x. Root c squared is c. But the thing you don't understand, Iggy, is that when you do something to one side of the equation, you have to do the same thing to the other side of the equation. I think you're missing that because you went here. You did this thing here. So when I did, in order to get CL alone, I did root of c squared. I had to do root over here. 13 equals c. So what numbers can I... This is the right way to apply the Pythagorean theorem. So what application of the Pythagorean theorem do you think doesn't work? I'll test it right now.
Well, that one right there. Your answer is 25 for equaling c squared.
Yes, c squared equals 25.
Right.
So c equals
But
5.
it's not, 25 is not 5.
You're right. 25 is
correct?
not 5. But yeah,
Right.
that's a great... Yeah, 25 not equal 5. Good job. Stunning,
And where's c
stunning
in your
piece
top
of
left?
information. So I have c
Where's
squared
square
here.
root?
I need to get rid of the c squared. I just want to have c, so I do root, both sides of the equation. Root of 25 is 5. Root of c squared is c. Right there, c equals 5. There we are. It works perfectly.
And where is it? Where is that in your first line?
Where is it in my first line? It's not
Yeah,
in the
on
first
the
line
right.
because I applied the rules of algebra to get to this.
Where is that in the equation?
Right here.
Why isn't there a square root of c squared
Because algebra.
in
Because
the
algebra.
equation?
Because algebra, Iggy. That's
You
what
didn't.
I'm
You
just
didn't square.
applying. I'm applying algebra, Iggy. This
You
is
did not
really
square root the left side.
This is
You did not square root the left side.
you know that
You're not doing. You're not
people,
doing the same to both sides.
you know that part in A Few Good Men at the end when he is completely he's on the stand and he said the most damning thing. That's what you've seen right now. And Tom
He
Cruise
doesn't get it.
Tom Cruise is like, read him his rights. Yep. It's
Too bad you don't get it.
he
Sorry you
thinks
don't
you
get
should
it.
know C before solving C. That's it. All right. So anyway, yep, that didn't go well. Anyway, so Pat the chances, to be fair, Iggy's math skills are on par for 13-year-old, aka a 4-year-old. Oh, right.
Wrong.
To Res Q explain stuff says ask him to square a letter. Ask him how to square a letter. How do you square a letter?
You do it the tune line. You just change 2 to 4.
Many Karen coming out swinging says Iggy's right. It's not hard to be an absolute idiot.
Yep, that's tune is shown tonight.
Tim Davidson says he's not right. He's being
And
obtuse.
the rest of chat.
He's being obtuse, and it's not acute. I see what you did there, Tim. Janusz Takas says
Come on, I shave stuff.
the complete formula. I'll write down the complete formula. I haven't dealt with this complete formula long time. I'll share it to you even so you can see the complete formula.
All right.
Because, like, for example, E equals MC squared is not the complete formula either. But Janusz says the complete formula. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine. That's a gamma. I suck at writing gammas. There you go. This simplifies to Pythagorean theorem when gamma equals pi over 2, right? So when gamma equals pi over 2, what does cosine of pi, what's cosine of pi over 2?
I have no idea.
It's going to be 0.
Okay, great.
Right. So what do we have? This minus 2ab times 0, right? Right. So this all turns into 0, right?
Right.
So we're subtracting 0 from that. So we can just write c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Right? So we simplified that by using algebra, the steps of algebra. We did that. Right? And
Great. So someone got the equation wrong.
We use the rules of algebra. No, it's not wrong. It's this.
Yes, it is.
This is a special case of this for when when gamma is pi over 2.
Right. Special case is not.
Yeah.
And all the time.
Correct. It's not all the time.
Right.
So we've got a kitty, and I'm gonna put the kitty right here. Look at this. Hold on.
All right.
Look at that. This is right from the top view. Hey, you want to look right up at the camera? Right up there. Look at that.
That's a much better view than most cats. So.
Do you see what I'm showing?
Thank you for.
All right. Oh, do you want the noisy cat? All right. He's not going to be as. Oh, he got away. All right. Here he is. Oh. Hold on. He's like, wait a second. Wait a second. All right. All right. Yeah. Meryl. It's so noisy. Oh yeah. There. Let's get him. There he is. Oh, look at him. He's.
All right.
That's Turtle. That's Turtle the orange cat. He's also kind of a loaf of bread. There we go. All right. Let him run.
Thankfully, just I 1 and 2.
All right. All right. Let me switch this up here. Thank you for that, Janusz. Anyan Sayan says, I think we found the new 5 divided by 0 equals 5. Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Iggy, what is 5 divided by 0?
0.
Incorrect. Tim Davidson says, bet he gets drunk off root beer in a square glass.
Yeah, baby.
We got some more math here. Eric Burns says square root of Iggy's IQ is greater than Iggy's IQ. That doesn't seem possible. That does not seem possible. Nate says Iggy for top left, 9 plus 16 is not equal to 25. Is what Nate says.
Oh, he's wrong.
Industrial Nerd says just like the book. Yeah, just like the book, says Industrial Nerd. Industrial Nerd, he's pretty. He sent me this. This is an absolute, or not an absolute. This is a NIST certified temperatureometer.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
For a NIST.
Right.
Actually, I got to go pretty soon, so.
All right.
All right.
RT96 says just because one chain smokes like Oppie doesn't mean one is as smart as Oppie. You know who Oppie is?
I guess so, yeah.
Who?
I don't know any chain smokers, so.
Do you know who Oppie is?
No.
Okay. Many Karen
I
says
know who Opie is.
Iggy needs a book for people who will never understand. And then IC Spin says, Iggy, can you walk us through how a squared plus b squared does not equal c squared?
Oh, that was the 9 plus 16. Does not equal 25 on your hypotenuse. It comes out to 18, actually.
Comes out to 18.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on a second. 9 plus 16 is 18?
Yes, if you're going to square 3 and 4 to get your 9 and 16,
Okay.
if you were to measure that because you squared your numbers,
But why are you measuring
and
it? You don't measure
you will
Pythagorean
end up
theorem.
at 18.
You don't measure the intermediate steps in the Pythagorean theorem.
Well, that's fine. If you want to add 3 and 4, though, you'll just get 7
But you don't add
as
3
your
and 4.
C,
You add 3 squared
as your C squared.
and 4 squared.
Right. But if you're going to do your 9 and 16, therefore, as your squares, then your result for C squared would be 25
Yes, C squared equals 25.
as the equation.
Yeah.
As the equation is written.
Yeah, C squared equals 25.
And 25 is, and we all know 25 is not the correct answer.
Yeah,
Only 5 is.
You have to take the square root of both sides.
Wrong. That is not part of the equation.
My God.
That's Pythagorean theorem disproven
Oh my God.
completely.
It's just so extreme.
Yep.
It's
You
so
can
extreme.
say that all you want, but
about the
textbook-
simplest math. It's
the textbook. Yeah, but the textbook only agrees with me.
no, it doesn't. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it does.
Tim
showed up.
Davidson says he didn't get my squaw on a hippo joke last time.
I did not know.
It did not. Cretan Bell says, I've been following Effie stuff since 2016, 2017, and this is the most embarrassed I've ever felt for an adult. He's confused by things we teach 13-year-olds.
Wrong. I just proved to you that the theorem is completely flawed and wrong. You cannot just apply other things if it's not part of the written equation. You can claim that you can, and the book tells you that only I am correct. And then you do not do.
Oh, dear God.
You do not do what the book says to do.
I see Spin says, smile if you're a Poe. He's trying not to. Daryl Frost. C squared equals E or M. Right there. Daryl Frost. What do you think about
Nice.
that one, Iggy? Right there. What do you think of that? What do you think?
That should work according to everybody else.
According to everybody else. But how did we get there, do you think?
With Einstein.
Yeah, but how did this happen? Because this isn't the formula that people quote. What formula?
Oh, well,
what formula
this
do
is just
people?
different.
But what formula do
This-
people quote?
Well, they can quote any formula that's written.
But when they're talking about Einstein, what
Yep.
what formula do they usually say? They
E
usually
equals MC squared.
there you go. Right. There you go. E equals MC. Oh, so hold on a second. I wrote that wrong. All right. But now, this isn't the complete equation either.
I didn't know that.
Like the
I don't
Pythagorean
care
theorem
about
is not the complete equation.
It has
Tell you
nothing to do with anything.
Let me. I'll just. Well,
It's-
because we want to discuss it. This is
Right.
FE. This is free education for you. The full equation.
That I don't need. Has never benefited humanity yet.
There you go. Have you seen that?
No.
No.
Nope.
And you will notice there's something a little interesting about that. Look at that. We see the Pythagorean
Awesome.
theorem right there in the complete
Wow.
the complete formula for the mass energy. What do you think of that?
Right? Maybe they actually do it right instead of your way.
No, they do it
Right.
my way. They do it my way. Yeah, we do it
Wrong.
my way. We do it my way.
Wrong.
So there you go. That's pretty cool. that just pops out all of a sudden. Wow, we've got the Pythagorean theorem right in there in relativity. It says something. So for reference, Iggy, what's M?
Mass, as far as I understand.
There you go. And what's C?
Constant of light.
Speed of light. Right. And then now we know that C here is the speed of light. But what's this one right here?
Let's see. I'm not sure. If it's actually representative of it, then I might go for particle, maybe. But maybe parsec or distance.
What do you think?
Mom? I don't think so. Is that an H or an M?
It's momentum.
Momentum. Okay.
Yeah. So momentum deals with how fast something's moving relative to its mass as well. So if momentum is 0, right? If something is not moving or is moving very, very slow, then what's momentum?
It would be 0 or
0. That's right, and that's
very small number.
Yeah. So then that gives you. So when you put the 0 in there, that gives you E squared equals MC squared all squared. And then guess what you can do with this? You can get rid of this squaring and get rid of this squaring by doing this. Giving you E equals MC squared. Now they used my method right there to get E equals MC squared. Amazing. My method is how E equals MC squared comes out of this original equation.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
That was not the original final answer, though.
What's not the final answer?
That was their algebra they used to get to the actual final equation.
Yeah, I mean, I showed it to you right there. So when
right, but that's what
for when momentum is 0, then we get just E squared equals MC squared squared, and then we take the square root of both sides, which we did earlier and you didn't like, but anyway, giving us E equals MC squared.
Right, that's
my
what.
method.
And everything above that is what Pythagoras did, and he came up with a final formula.
Yeah, he came up with,
which he violated,
which is similar to this, and I just totally matched it. And we get this. I just applied all the same rules, and we got there. Amazing.
Yeah, but at the bottom he finalized.
The way I did it,
you added to his finalized.
Is the way everybody does it. Amazing. So, all right, PhD Tony. Oh dear, PhD Tony gave me
16 still equals 25.
PhD Tony says right here we've got. I'm gonna send this. I don't know what he's doing. He's sending me a math problem here. Let's see.
All backwards.
F to the power of -1. I didn't need to write the caret. Oh, what am I doing? Sub F of X. I don't know what you're doing here, Tony. I'm just writing down what you do. Equals F to F -1 X equals X for all X for all F. So I don't know what you're doing there. I don't know. What is this, Tony? Maybe you can come on and explain what you're doing here. I'm not messing with it right now.
We're just canceling F's and that's it.
Yeah, all right.
F equals X.
All right. Okay. We've got Stringers 1 says your problem, Iggy, is ego can't be cashed in. That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Gareth Bunting says, can Iggy walk us through calculus next? You want to run us through some calculus?
No, I do not.
Right. What if?
I gotta go in like 5 minutes.
But what if you're in, right? You've got epsilon in the delta neighborhood. right? But what
Sure, why
what
not?
I mean, epsilon might get lost in the delta neighborhood, just walking along in the delta neighborhood. It's like, oh crap, where am I? I know I'm in the delta neighborhood, but I don't know how to get out of the delta neighborhood. I don't know. All right. Tim Davidson says, with the triangles of sides 1, 1, and 1, how many sides are on the triangle?
3.
Good job. Iggy, sorry, Icy Spin says, next you're going to tell us that 2 plus 2 is not equal to 4.
No, I was not going to do that.
Okay, all right. RT96
It's
says,
terrible
maybe he,
prediction.
like JM, is a modified mathematician. Are you a modified mathematician?
Could be. I might agree with that. Yeah.
Many Karen comes out swinging again, says idiot squared plus moron squared equals Iggy squared.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah,
But the book says that's
which,
2
which would
naturally.
be Iggy equals the square root of idiot squared plus moron squared. So we solve for Iggy. Just a Messenger says, I've never seen someone so smug and so wrong at the same time. That was middle school math. Yeah, it is something. Cody Payne says,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
at least
flat
I
Earth
followed the
is.
equation.
Cody Payne says, you know, flat Earth is in trouble when flurfs have to resort to calling basic math fraud. And Cody knows his stuff. He's in
No, he
school.
doesn't.
He's in school, studying
There's no shit.
a bit more than this. Uh,
Go ahead and start
Thanks.
measuring stuff, buddy.
Fa of the QTube family says, what wine do I serve with word salad? Red wine? White wine?
Oh, what were you drinking?
I'm drinking myself Tuncha.
The Toonshine, yeah.
Okay. David says, is 10 to the power of negative 17 a legal or illegal number?
Illegal.
Okay.
We cannot prove it.
And a related number, is 10 to the power of negative 17 a positive or a negative number?
Positively small.
Positively small. All right. Stringers 1 says, like this, says the 1970s want their wood panel back. Iggy, you said last time you were taking it down soon. It's still
Uh,
up.
2 years.
When's it coming down?
2 years. 2 years it comes down.
Oh, why?
This year it gets painted though.
Why is it coming down in 2 years?
Rebuilding the house.
All right. Is this how old is this room? Like, is that paneling from the
Uh,
70s legit?
yeah. Well, the room is 101 years old, but the paneling's only from the 70s.
Okay.
But the door trim is 101.
Okay. My house is 1880s. So I'm sitting in a room.
Nice.
I'm sitting in a room where nothing is square, nothing is plumb, nothing is level. The
I
floor.
have one
Yeah.
section of floor that is level.
Yeah. All right.
That's the only place I can put the bed.
My Dennis 787B says, Iggy, you just say wrong does not mean wrong. You're just dumb. That's what he says. So
Oh, you can think so, but the textbook proves me right.
sure. All right. And Judy Bassett said, what is the curvature of a waterfall? That's a good question.
What is the curvature of it?
Yeah. What's the curvature of a waterfall?
90 degrees.
All right. Uh, Three Ron says, congratulations, Soon. You may have found one of the least educated of the Flurf in math and geography. I mean, geometry?
Correct.
Or all. Math, geometry, and geography. Peachy Tony says...
Oh, gotta go. Sorry.
All right. Well,
Gotta take off, but it's been fun. Sorry I destroyed you so bad, but I appreciate the opportunity. So good luck in the future.
all right. Thanks, Iggy.
Bye.
See you later. Whew. So, my goodness, how can it all be so wrong? everything he did. It was so wrong. So, all right. I'm just like trying to follow, right? Sometimes I'm like there's some reason for it. But he's like, you need to measure the 9 and the 16. Why do you need to measure the 9 and the 16? Why is that what he's trying to do? I don't get that. Something's wrong with that boy. That boy ain't right. That boy ain't right. PG Tony says, for the record, I tried teaching Pythagoras theorem to my shoe. It worked it out quicker than Iggy. He had to go. He couldn't hear that. David says, Iggy, the double square root of a river equals 11 o'clock. Oh. Like the absolute complete wrongness that he doesn't know the difference, even when I explain it over and over and over. He doesn't know the difference between elevation and curvature. even on a, like, I'm like, let's do it on a ball. He's like, the cheese wedge. He didn't get it then even. David says, the spice must flow. Is that a Dune reference? It sounds like a Dune reference. The grumpy old mechanic says, is this critter one of the 20th smartest people on the globe? Replaced smartest with dumbest. He could, maybe. PG Tony says, for water to flow, it requires a reduction in equipotential. The combination of centrifugal and gravitational potential energy. It does. That would be way beyond him because of the cheese wedge. Tim Davidson, quick break for an ad homs, fresh and hot. Yes, he just couldn't do that. Brian Peck. Oh, what's the derivative of x squared? I'm certain he could not say that. He could not figure that out. I was hoping he's gonna want us to talk calculus. I was gonna quick whip up an equation and ask him to do it, but no. So the derivative of x squared with respect to x is 2x. Traber Lindstammer says, Iggy smokes to hide his short circuit. Oh crap! Iggy smokes to hide his short-circuiting brain. Yeah. Crashes says, did Iggy get me in the math? Did Iggy ever get me the math in order to make a digital sundial based on the flat earth? I mean, MJ Optics is globe-based and works perfectly. It does. No, of course not. Because, on a flat earth, the sun would do, this is what it would look like. That's what you'd see every day. It'd never set. It'd just be, it'd be way back here, nice and small. And then it'd be come up and then nice and small. Right. It would go 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, wouldn't it? Of course, it'd have to go faster than 1,000 miles an hour on December 25th because it somehow moved out to the bigger circle, bigger radius, and it has to move faster. And you've seen the flurps that are like, it's in the clouds. Like if the sun was in the clouds at moving 1,000 miles an hour, as they say, what? How does that happen? They don't know. It's magic to them. Everything is magic to them. Tango44 says, Iggy is going to build his next computer. Iggy tells 0 megahertz. Yeah, he doesn't even know what an engineer does. He thinks an engineer is a scientist, and they're not needed anymore because everything is known. Judy's like, Mark Sargent is on again with Karen B. Apparently he didn't check his email. No, of course not. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to ban you. They won't let anybody call in. I want to give them a little more time, and then I will try calling in. I'll use my Google Voice number, but not now. Well, I'll plan it. I'll plan ahead, and I'll get in his call queue early, hopefully. So, Eric Burns says we should go over there again. You can. I do have to. I have to. I'm gonna not go a ton longer, but I do. I definitely want to come back to Mark Sargent and go back to his stream and get everybody there. So what I'll do, I will announce it ahead of time, a week ahead of time, so everybody can go subscribe. So you're a subscriber so that you don't have to wait the 30 minutes or whatever, right? And then when we're done, we can unsubscribe. Okay. Professor Phil Bell says, right here, everyone, please tell MC Toon Live to announce M2M going live in 9 hours to follow the landing of Vikram on the moon. So there it is. Could somebody grab? I'll pin it. M2M's channel. I like his stuff. He used to be the Casual Spaceman, or if you're a fan of 30 Rock, the Casual Spachicum. So drop his link in there. I will pin it. And yeah, so if you're going to watch it live on M2M's channel. And Professor Phil Bell is closely involved in that. And I'm excited. I hope it has much more luck than they had last time. And definitely better than Russia did. So Charles Arnold says it's back to 5 minutes. Ooh. All right. I see somebody says Eric won't debate. Of course he won't. Did somebody demand that I debate him live here? Oh, there it is. There, James Horton thinks that you think that? You think I'm afraid? Oh dear, James Horton. James Horton, please tell your Lord and Savior, Eric Dubé, I'm ready. I am ready to debate him right now. I have an open invitation to debate him, and I will do it on the channel that I won't go anywhere else for. I will not debate on Modern Day Debate, but I will make an exception for Eric Dubé, and since I've already challenged him, I'll make an exception for Nathan Oakley to debate on Modern Day Debate. So, James Horton, today is your lucky day. You can go tell your Lord and Savior Eric Dubé that I will debate him. And James, if he won't debate me, then definitely you should shame him for being scared. You claimed I was afraid, and you use this clown emoji here, this right here, this clown emoji. You used that for me. I'm ready to debate Eric Dubé. You go tell him, clown emoji Eric Dubé is scared to debate MC Toon. You go tell him that, all right? That's it. I mean, it's your lucky day, James Horton. You're gonna make it happen, aren't you? You're gonna be the one that contacts Eric Dubé, and he eventually says, "You are James Horton. You are the one that will deliver the message, and he will sack up and debate me." Are you? Because other people have. I've heard back from other people that have contacted Eric Dubé saying, debate, right? Flat Earthers, not Globers. Flat Earthers saying, Eric, buddy, Eric, you're my favoritist. Eric, please go debate MC Toon. And Eric's answer is Chicken Run. It's the chicken run. He just scuttles off like farmyard poultry. So, yeah, Phantom, you're kind of warning Karen B and Mark Sargent what you're. Well, yes, they know I'll be back. It's not a surprise to them, right? All right, let me see. We got that one there. All right, yep, that is it. Judy, you got this. I'll pin that. So there it is. People go. Go there to that link and subscribe to M2M. Manabrat Set says Jaren is live boasting that Glober FDFE actually concedes. Absolutely, he did. FDFE thought that if you follow a line of latitude and go directly east and don't change direction, that you will follow that line of latitude. If you looked at his Twitter, he had a poll yesterday on it. And I'm like, Craig, you're not right on this. So it was Craig and Jaren were like disagreeing on it. And I'll tell you, I was with Jaren. I'm like, Jaren, I'm with you. I said, Craig, I'm with Jaren. And the question was about, it came down to lines of latitude, rum lines, and not turning while following a line, right? And great circle routes. So the equator is a great circle. The equator is a special case rum line. If you go east or west, it's a great circle. And it's a line of latitude. Rum line. So a rum line is where you follow the same heading. But but there's special case rum lines, but normal rum lines, which are not special cases, if you follow it, you'll spiral around the globe and wind up at one of the poles. The special cases are due north, due south rum line. Of course, if you go due north, you'll eventually cross the North Pole. And when you cross the North Pole, then you continue going straight. You will be going south, not north. But if you just keep going, that's a great circle. Rum line that's due east or due west, which starts at a line of latitude. Your bearing remains the same, but it's a small circle, not a great circle. And you do actually turn. So a rum line, you keep the same heading, but you turn. A great circle, you do not keep the same heading, except for special cases, and you do not turn. So anyway, Craig was saying, if you were, 1/10 of a degree south of the North Pole and you went straight, he initially said that you would, going straight, stay on that line of latitude. And that's not correct. You would immediately diverge off of that line of latitude. You would follow a great circle. You'd eventually get back to where you started, and not turning, but you would not be following the line of latitude. So yeah. So anyway, so he in the end, he thought about it. I talked to him. I'm just like, Craig, you're not right on this, but go ask some other people. And I didn't press him. We didn't get in an argument or anything. We're friends. And I'm like, go ask more. Don't just ask me. Go. And so he did. And he's like, you know what? Jaren was right. So I think that's a great thing. We all are wrong on things. Definitely. We all are going to make mistakes on stuff. And when we are, we need to own it. So, and Craig did. So good for him. Good for him. All right. Glober for Life says, go to jail in Georgia for lying with your lying ex-prez. I don't know why. GA Georgia, I guess. I don't know. Is Iggy political? I haven't seen him talk about it. Flirts are all over the place. I mean, a lot of them are QAnon nutters. But then for some reason they got off that, and now they're like, I don't vote for anybody. I never voted, blah, blah. Like, they're all over. You never know. Oh no, it's Andy says, Iggy must be trolling. No one can be that stupid. Yeah. He is. He really is. Cretan Bull says, this guy is so stupid it's actually making me sad. I mean, yeah, he can't have people in his life that deal with him. Like he said he used to be an insurance agent. I don't know what he does now, but I can't imagine the people that are in his real life dealing with that kind of ignorance and arrogance. 2ResQ explains stuff, says Poe. Nobody is this ignorant. He is. I don't know. I mean, if he's Poeing, he's a great actor, right? Because I asked him, if you're Poeing, smile. He didn't smile. Like I was waiting, I was hoping that he'd be like, but he didn't. He didn't even do that. Grand Price. Wait, Jaren was right about something? Yes, he was. Yeah. He is he's right about some stuff. And he's right about some stuff that Globers sometimes get wrong. I still see people on Facebook saying 8 inches per mile squared, right? Hand waving that away because it's a parabola. That's wrong. It's a fine approximation for linear drop from horizontal tangent. It's not right for bottom-up obstruction. And the incorrectness in the bottom-up obstruction is not because it's a parabola. It's because it's the wrong formula. It doesn't include the observer height. That's why it's wrong. So it has nothing to do with being a parabola that makes it wrong. It has to do with not accounting for observer height. You need a different formula or a different process. You can do a 2-step with algebra, which of course Iggy would say you can't do. He doesn't think you can rearrange terms. That's what he did. He didn't think that you could actually apply algebra to the Pythagorean theorem. Icy Spin. When I hear someone used to sell insurance, I immediately think scumbag. Is it just me? It's not just you. Whatever. All right. Indie Tiger Sci-Fi Review. Ask him to explain Manning's equation. I don't know what that is myself. Delcos says NVIDIA conspiracy confirmed. Hopper, Ada, Turing are all actually the same. The level of stupid is genuinely scary. What does he do as a job day to day? I don't know what he does now. It's Jiva says, in your last talk, Jaren got that wrong too. God, what wrong? Did he get 8 inches per mile squared? No, Jaren knows 8 inches per mile squared has a purpose. He knows its purpose. He did not use it correctly when he did his observation thing in 2017, but it's the correct formula. He just applied it wrong. I lost my train of thought on the 8 inches per mile squared for bottom-up obstruction. You can do it in 2 hops. You solve for distance to horizon first, given an observer height. Then, from that point, you use 8 inches per mile squared to go the rest of the distance. So two-step to do it, but it also does not easily account for refraction. So in order to get the refraction, you actually have to use a different number than 8 in 8 inches per mile squared. And you have to do it on both the first, if you're going to use it, the first part, the distance to the horizon. You've heard them say 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That 1.22 is the wrong number if there is refraction. It's a different value. So you need to include refraction in there. And of course, that formula, the 8 inches per mile squared, the 1.22 times the observer height in feet, both of those have inputs to it of the radius of the Earth. And you can include refraction by multiplying by the radius of the Earth in the right, I'm not going to do it right now, but by multiplying that by a factor dependent on the conditions of refraction. In a simplified case, right? When it's complex refraction, then you need to do a lot more than just that formula, right? You need to do ray tracing. Jeebus says, you corrected him about that last time. He got it right first, then wrong. Oh yeah. He tries harder. I'll give Jaron that. He's I've said it before. Very few flat earthers have actually said, "Hey, I was looking at your webpage and this." He's done that. So it's that's a, I get from Globers all the time. "Hey, I was looking at your webpage and you made a mistake here, or your citation is wrong there." And, so definitely, if you find errors, let me know. I want to know. I want to fix things. I'm typically adding stuff to pages all the time. So the Earth Around the Sun page is one of my recent ones. That James Bradley paper is so cool with the font that they used. I love it. All right, let me get going here. M2M says, "Can you ask Iggy if he can explain the retrograde motion of the planets without the heliocentric model?" What would he say? He'd probably just say wrong. Big TB 1717 says, "Iggy for top left 2023 unless he's a Poe." I don't know. Maybe he is a thespian, and he is just plying his skills because his days of theater are over. Could be that a guy of his age and build and body type, that there's only so many, acting down at the local community theater for him, and he's like, well, I'm gonna need to have a creative outlet for that somewhere, and maybe this is it. Nerd alert. Says, "How often does this have to be stated? 8 inches per mile squared is from a geodetic surveying and not for parabola. It is exact on a sphere of 3960 mile radius if the correct input chord length is used." Yes, it is. It is correct for chord length, but in order to use, but we only measure stuff over the surface for distances. So it is from surveying, and it is appropriate for linear drop from horizontal tangent, as well as chord length across from surface to surface. You're right, but they're never doing chord length. Right? It's exact for that, but they're never doing chord length. Ever. I've never seen that. I've once seen, and somebody told me that in the force the line test that the FE Core tried to do, that they did use also 8 inches per mile squared in what they were doing. I didn't see that particular thing that they did. I haven't looked at it yet to see if that was anyway. So those are the two cases that I know of where flat earthers have used 8 inches per mile squared in the correct case. So is Chris Curtis back? The truth about the, oh my gosh. Yeah, so Chris, who was on last week, says that the truth about the universe does not exist in equations. You guys always cut people down because they don't do math and believe in the equation over observation. No, Chris, the Pythagorean theorem, it matches reality. You draw a triangle. You measure the two lengths. You square those two values. You add them. You take the square root. The hypotenuse is always that. But reality matches observation. That's just one example. So, 3Ron says, "Tune, does this Joker ever YouTube videos? My middle school daughter wants to make fun of him." I don't think he has a YouTube channel. Shovelhead Steve says, "Iggy obviously has a mental disability." I cannot disagree there. Steve6464 says, "Iggy has an IQ of 2 and you need 3 to grunt." Oh yes. Indie Tiger Sci-Fi Review. Oh, this would be I know the answer. Says, "Iggy, please explain the continuity equation or the Bernoulli equation or any fluid mechanics equation of his choice." that we use every day in civil engineering. He would say, I don't know anything about those. So even though he thinks he's smarter than all astronomers, he thinks he knows engineering better than engineers, he knows science better than scientists, he doesn't know the things that scientists, engineers use in their data, and astronomers in their day-to-day stuff to do their, but he's smarter than them somehow. Luke Filewalker says, I think I got an existential crisis about that someone can actually be this dense. Yeah, like, he just keep going wrong when, seriously, he's wrong. It's so basic. I can science that, says Iggy, is painful, but MC Toon, I need to correct you on your own math mistake. Yep, I did. And after I wrote it, I'm like, oh, I made that mistake. 5 squared times 5 to the power of half, right? Times 5 times root 5 is not square root of 5 squared. When you multiply, you add the exponent. Yeah, so 5 squared times 5 to the power of 1/2 is 5 to the power of 1.5. And I did make that mistake. It's in the book. It's I got it. Hold on. I'll own it. I can science that. And after I wrote it and I had moved on, I'm like, I made that mistake. But it's too late. I was on, and Iggy was on to something else. Where'd it go? Is it here? I know I wrote it down. I gave like a bunch of examples of it, didn't I? Crud. No, now I can't find it. I thought I wrote it down. I was certain I wrote it down. Oh no. Oh my gosh, I did a whole lot with him. There it is. I found it. There it is. That was wrong. You're right. I made it. I own it. Those are wrong. Gosh, I said 1.5. It's 2.5. I made it wrong again. All right, let me fix it. I'm gonna. All right. There you go. Wrong. I'll fix it. Pen. Where did I put it? Where did I put the? I'll correct myself. Oh, there it is. All right. You like my Space Force patch? There you go. Ooh. Yes, I need a red pen to mark my wronginess there. So, hey, well, here you go. This is where, so when I'm working, my laptop sits here. So I've got a screen here, and the laptop sits here, and I do work on the laptop, and I use an app called Synergy to move the cursor between them. So, anyway, this is a little view into my my day-to-day world here. So okay. Kango 44 says, well done, Iggy. The side of that triangle is 28,561. Maybe you need to square it and unsquare it, de-square it a couple times extra, just until it seems right. PhD Tony says, does Iggy realize that we've all been watching that? Unlike him, we are not demonstrably delusional. He does not realize that. He is right now patting himself on the back, thinking how well he did. Brian Peck says, pull the Poe alarm. He can't be that stupid. David, does you have a triangle of sides 5, 12, and 28,561? What's the square root of the river's tangent line? That's perfect. That's perfect. Oh my gosh. Cray to the Z says it's okay. After dealing with that amount of derp, you're allowed to make a few mistakes here and there. I thank you. I thank you for that, and I will. I'll amend my brain power with a little tune shine. Again, not nearly strong enough tune shine for Iggy. Glober for Life says, Iggy, are you smarter than a first grader? Now in first grade they don't do algebra. That starts in the United States, unless you're really taking some advanced math classes. It would sixth grade would be about the earliest. I mean I mostly go on this. This is the pre-algebra book with, I think it's eighth grade. I got an eighth grader coming up next weeks. So this hold on. There's all right. So this is the series that the books go through. You got alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so pre-algebra is seventh grade. So okay, so my student is taking algebra, is going to be doing 1, 10. So yeah, we do pre-algebra in 8. Yeah, so they have the primer. So this book will be what my 8th grader does this year. And then Algebra 1 is after this for 8th grade. Sorry, for 9th grade. Then Geometry, and then Algebra 2. And then pre-calc, or if she decides to go on. But yeah, that's the book they go through. So yes, certainly less than 7th grade ability to understand math. So he can do, he can do arithmetic. That's it. But as soon as you put a variable in there and you start applying the rules of algebra, he got lost. He did not understand that you can apply a square root to both, and you have to do it to both sides. It's beyond him. Freelance Minion says, while condemning people for believing scientists, Iggy demands we slavishly follow some math book he doesn't know all of. Yeah. Tim Davidson says, Iggy, provide me your location so I may calmly provide tutelage. You give the crazy guy your address. Cody Payne says, Iggy has won top left for next year. No contest. Forget Mount Stupid. He's scaled to Lagrange point stupid. That's a great way to put it. KYPDR Kipter says he's not understanding that each side is A, B, and C. Yeah, he thought that you would then have to draw a triangle with a side of 9 and 16 instead of adding them and taking a square root. He didn't quite get that. I don't know. Karen Edmondson has a $5 super chat, and it is Karen's first super chat. Thank you for that, Karen. What's great in the Z? Hold on a second. Why did Cray to the Z get blocked? Oh, hold on a second. Is Cray to the Z somebody we know from? See, yeah, all right. So he said that had to be a mistake to block him. Unless Cray to the Z is somebody that yeah. So there's Manuel Crazy, who is a Tanzanian, and sometimes gets into, who's not a flirt, but gets into some conspiracy stuff. I'm like, nope, you're not doing that here. So Melodic Lyrics says, I mean, technically you can have a 9, 16, 25 track. I mean, of course. that, but that's not gonna. So if you have a triangle of 9 and 16, then what? You square 9 and you square 16. You add them together, and then square it, square root it. He doesn't know what to do. Okay, King Crew says it was an accident. Anyway, Karen, you didn't have a message there. If you tag me, whatever you tag, I will read. You might have made a mistake and not meant to just send a messageless super chat, but if that was your intention, thank you very much. Weisskopf is here. This is can't math and then clip it. All right. Yeah, you then draw another triangle. You get in, it's triangles all the way down. You just keep drawing infinite regression of triangles. William Foley says, Iggy, drunk, sitting in your mom's basement, stealing your neighbor's Wi-Fi, and unable to do basic algebra is no way to take on MC2. Yeah, the admission of the neighbor's Wi-Fi, that was a little funny. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. So Steve6464 says, I am usually not this mean, but Iggy, how do you pour water out of a boot? No cheating. Don't look at the instructions on the heel. He wouldn't, yeah. Palm 47 says, too many Narcissus cigarettes, perhaps. Oh my gosh. I get in my YouTube, my email address that's associated with my YouTube account. I get so many fake offers. So many like, oh, we want you to promote our thing and we'll pay you. They're all fake. Dozens. It's amazing. It's amazing how Borg Emporius has ever thought of doing a rap like FTFE. So, one of the first things that FTFE and I talked about back in 2018, early 2019, was he was going to do a SmackDown rap. He was going to get a whole bunch of us together. And it didn't happen. But I was like, oh, maybe. No, I don't rap them. Okay. How did the laser nose thingy pay? It didn't pay. That was not a paid thing. Well, I mean, if you bought things, if anybody bought from my non-positive review of it and live talking with the guy, if you bought it from that, you're the sucker. But I would then get commission on it because I put the link in there. So I've not yet got a commission, so I have to assume that nobody has bought using my commission link. I did just get a message from them again a couple days ago. I haven't done anything with it, so I'm like, you don't actually want me to review it. It's not going to be favorable. So, Luke Filewalker says, maybe the cats understand Pythagorean theorem better than Iggy. It's a good chance. Let me move this here. So my microphone is, let me show you. Right there. Normally I have this. You've seen it before, I think. A lot of you have. This is how I normally have my microphone right there. So, I don't know. Does it sound better? Does it actually sound better? So, all right. Judy, you got this, says you should absolutely do the Manscaped live demo. What? I don't know what that is, though. Oh, no. 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 No, I won't be doing that. Now I want to see did James Horton, did he come back with word of is he here? Doesn't know. Oh my gosh. Says this clown doesn't know his math he got from NASA equals 666. But it doesn't. There's no math from NASA that's 666. Yeah, I think make a rap about how much NASA pays you. So I think James Horton definitely seems like a Poe. Because I mean it's just too ridiculous. Yeah, I'm looking at his channel. Like there's nothing there. So yeah. James is looking for his brother Tim to make us all coffee. I'll have a custard filled Bismarck, please. James Horton and your brother Tim. All right. Icy Spin said, "Smile if you're a Poe." Melodic Lyrics says, "Iggy, you do know what mathematical proof is?" No, of course not. That's the thing. That's the interesting thing about flirfs. They think that you can find proof in science. You can't, but they don't understand that you can have a proof in math. And like, so this will come up in when I'm talking to Flatzoid, right? Because Flatzoid just parrots. Oakley talks about geometry and makes claims about geometry, just pure geometry about what is possible, and it directly contradicts some of Euclid's writings and has no actual geometric backing to it. So the correct answer is show the geometric proof supporting your claim, right? Because what's their claim? They claim that for some reason they talk about measuring angles, and that for some reason they say it's not possible to or from a curve, which is completely ridiculous. Euclid Book 3, Proposition 18 specifically talks about a line going from the center of a circle to the edge of a circle and intersecting it at a right angle. And then you can draw a tangent at that point. So you have a tangent. That the existence of that tangent does not stop the circle from being a circle. But it is tangent at a point, and you can then have something farther up along that line that's radiating from the center of the circle, and it can be parallel to the tangent line. And you can do that for any point along the circle. And then any of these tangent lines can be measured as the angle to something else. Nothing of that is a problem. And of course, when you bisect a sphere through the origin and 2 points on the surface, you get a circle. Not bisect, when you slice it, you just take the intersection, the intersection of it. And so that's where Euclid Book 3, Prop 18 applies. So, all right. Darrow Frost, 2 warships, 15 miles apart, both identical. One has 100 rounds to fire, but has to turn off curved Earth on their gun aiming computer. The other has 10 rounds with the ball Earth on. Okay. Lurper goes first. 1,000 rounds over your head, and then you can go with 10 rounds and get 10 hits. Yeah. Yep. All right. All right. Tesla Radio says, I call Law 1 of Flurf. So Law 1 of Flurf is that the Flurf citations always contradict the Flurf's claims. He didn't really have a whole lot of citations. He talked about the Mississippi River elevation change and somehow thought that he needed to apply his curvature formula, which isn't the curvature formula, to it, not understanding that elevation on a sphere is distance from whatever. I'm not going to go over it again. He was so dumb about that. Tim Davidson said, I'll say it again, a chief son was giving a choice of 3 wives, a lady on a fox pelt, a deer pelt, and a hippo pelt? Well, the squaw on the hippopotamus is equal to the sons of the squaws on the other two hides. Oh my gosh. And if you didn't get that, then you're not math nerdy enough. Oh my gosh. Holy Smalls says, show him that C to the, is that, it's a little small in the thing here. So I'm going to make it bigger so I make sure, yeah, okay. C degrees minus A degrees equals B degrees? I think it means square. C minus, oh yeah. So you go 5 squared. So C squared minus A squared equals B squared, right? Where you rearrange things using algebra. So then 5 squared minus 3 squared equals 4 squared. Yeah, he wouldn't get that either. He'd be like, that's not the original formula. You got to square it, and he'd get 5 minus 3. He'd get 2 squared. He'd get 4. It'd work. That's not what he'd do. He'd square 4. You'd take the square root. There it is. All right. You take the square root of 5 squared minus 3 squared equals 4. And then he'd square the 4 and say you're done. 16, all done. Daryl Frost says the ship's is a proof of ball Earth without having to consider refraction. It is, except that we don't have actual ships to do this on. That's the problem, right? It's a hypothetical. Right. So. And then Delco says that's a pretty limited joke. Tune, yeah. I don't know. Is that the one that Tony gave? Grant Price says, wait, was Jaren right about something? It was. Covered that already. PhD Tony says, being mistaken is not the mortal sin science denialists imagine. However, refusing to correct a mistake is. Well said, Tony. Very well said. Box says, next time, Iggy, give us your safe word. And a thumbs up. Nerd Alert says, okay, and how the exact sphere of chord length. He reviewed that. Yep. It is. Gaming with both hands says he should change his name from Iggy to Mongo, and we should send him a candygram. Is that Saturday Night Live? Is that what that is? Oh, I'm gonna hold on. Candygram from Mongo. Oh, that is not from Saturday Night. I don't know what that is. I mean, I could play it. Let me play it. Oh my goodness. All right, it's got the ad. Let me stop the ad. No thanks. All right. Candygram for Mongo. Oh. This is be interesting. All right, let me get this. All right, there's that. There's this. Here we go. Ready to go. Set the volume low, and there we go.
Candygram for Mongo. Candygram for Mongo. Candygram for Mongo. Candygram for Mongo. Hey, Mongo. Sign, please. Thank you.
Mongo like candy.
Nice. Mongo like candy. Very good. Now I know. Did you just send me what I just played? Oh, no. You know, Blazing Saddles could not be done today, could it? Could not be done today. It's almost like it's like you're wrong for thinking it's funny. It's okay. You can find things funny that are. All right. And Nick N says, fun fact, Ball Corp mason jars have a subsidiary, Ball Aerospace. They have worked with NASA since the 60s and built a mirror for JWST. Is that correct? I don't buy anything. All right, Ball Corporation is, yeah, all right. That does seem, and it's the same logo. Ball Aerospace. Cool. It does appear to be correct, Nick. And yes, Blazing Saddles made fun of everyone. So, I'll say this. There's a couple people that mentioned in my Mark Sargent video where I pointed out that he lives with his mom, and I'm like, oh, if he quit Flat Earth, he'd have to, he's unemployable, so he couldn't get a job, so he'd have to move in with his mom. Oh, never mind, he already lives there, right? So a couple people are like, hey, there are legitimate reasons for somebody to live with their mom, and correct. I don't mean to discourage any people that live with their mothers. One of my best friends, when his dad died, he moved in with his mom to take care of the place because his dad had been doing it, and so he went there to help take care of all the stuff. He got married then and now lives with his wife, but still goes and does the maintenance and stuff on the house where his mom lives. So totally legitimate reason. An illegitimate reason is that you are unemployable because you have scammed people for almost 10 years and lied about it, and now are unemployable because of it, because if anybody ever Googles your name, they'll find out that you're the scumball that lied to people for all that time. So that's a different reason to live with your mom, and it's not a legitimate reason to live with your mom. So Mark Sargent, shame on you. So there you go. Daryl Frost says Blazing Saddles makes fun of racists. That's the point of the movie. Not everyone. Yeah, you're right. It was. They didn't make fun of everyone. They completely left out. Who did they leave? I don't know who they left out. So, all right. John Walker says, I think I know what Iggy means. So Iggy said last time that his mom named him Iggy, and that's where he got the name. So I don't know. Wisecroft says, I genuinely don't think they're lying. They believe it, right or wrong. I think generally flat earthers do believe it. I've run into some posts, but I think for the most part they believe it. So Charlie Welch, cities would burn to the ground if that was in theaters today. Good. All right. Anyway, let's see, I think I got through all of the super chats. People, thank you very much. A ton of super chats. Iggy, shame on you for being so dumb and arrogant about it. You definitely should stop being so dumb, or at least, it's difficult to stop probably being dumb, but what you could do, Iggy, is just acknowledge that you're not smart. That'd be a good way to go. Eric Burns is Industrial Nerd Poe of the Year. You didn't fool me for long, did you? I was sniffing you off to begin with. So anyway, I'm going to remind you that next week I have two. I've got I was typing something. I've got Hillside and I've got Flatsoid Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So there you go. And Melodic Lyrics, no. CC has not. And I keep forgetting. Oh my gosh. So I will have to remember. But people, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you all along for the ride. And Iggy, geez, do better.